Hello everyone, I am Tacet and welcome to the Gems of War stream, as well as happy Valentine's Day, as it is finally Valentine's Day. And we do get a little free thing today. Seems like it's about the same as what they normally been doing for it. 50 gems and 4 of the 3 smaller trade stones, of course of red, thematically with Valentine's Day. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, they didn't do like a special thing on Adventure Board. I kind of would have expected that they would have for Valentine's Day of all things, but surprisingly none. So I'm not sure when they're going to be doing that again, because what other really big holidays are there between then? Like maybe St. Patrick's Day being the next big one, I guess. But I'm actually really surprised they didn't do one for today. But of course, we still have the Battle Crasher and PvP, which we won't be messing with. The Mythic is finally out of the drop table, so if you want to go and not get that Mythic, you can go open your keys now, and you'll be able to get any random Mythic in the game. Other than that, of course, the new Legend's still in the event key drop table. You still have all day today, tomorrow, and Sunday to go get that troop. So if you still want to go find that, that is still in event keys. Really great troop to have. We've been messing around with it some. I might mess with it a little bit more this stream. However, the good majority of the stream will be Barbarian Hero class leveling. Ideally, I want to get that to 70 sometime in the near future. Not sure if I'll actually be able to get it to 70 before we cover a video for it, because I probably want to get that done this weekend. But, I don't know. If we grind enough, we might be able to get there. Not even sure what goal we'll aim for. Probably about level 60, I guess, this stream or so. Somewhere around there. Definitely by the end of the day, I would want to have that minimum level 60. But, anyways. Let's start getting our grind on then. Of course, we'll be using pretty standard team, just running with a quick Rowan instant kill. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to leave them. Might mess around with a few other things. However, getting to single level is the only main objective I really need to do at the moment, though, for the most part. There are a few other small things, but it's the main one I need to prioritize. Hello, everyone, by the way. Hello, Foro. Hello, Kalthos. Hello, Isabel. Hello, Drock Savage. Hello, Chimera. Hello, Sleepy-Duh. Hello, Locknor. Hello, Elite Gaming. And hello, everyone else. Oh, you finally got the new Legend. Congratulations. Yeah, really great troop to have. Highly advise getting it by the end this week. If you don't have enough event keys, you could buy 10 for 180 glory in the glory shop if you haven't already gotten that. You can also buy them in 50 bulks. Not really advised to get them in 50 bulks, but it is something that can be done. I believe you can get them on one of the challenges for every single one of the quest lines. I forget exactly which one it falls on. And other than that, of course, green guild war task, or not green guild war, but the green task within your guild. Not the elite one, but the lower one has event keys on it. Technically, every single one has event keys on it as far as the elite ones. However, they take forever to do, of course. But yeah, happy Valentine's Day. Yeah, I don't have anything special planned. Nothing special planned. Though the Sonic movie came out, maybe I'll go see that. I'm not sure if I'll have time to go see it today. I'll try to catch it by the end this weekend, though. And I'm actually waiting for a shipment of roses. One of them, a friend of my mom's is sending roses to her, and he needs me to pick them up to make sure that she doesn't find them immediately when she gets back. So if I randomly need to leave by hearing the door, I might need to for a few minutes to stream. Because that shipment should be coming in the next few hours. I'm actually surprised it didn't already come. I didn't hear any knocks so far today, though. Wishing Elfie and Elefina wonderful Valentines. Yeah, they're sitting over in the side. One's on the bed and the other's still on the dresser thing. Maybe we'll bring them out a little bit later. The other one's still sleeping. Actually, I believe I got the first one a year ago as well. It's been about a year. Because I ended up getting it around Valentine's Day last year. The first elephant. Besides the night weapon, what's best with Queen Isabel, Sir Quentin, and Champion of Annual? You wouldn't really use Champion of Annual in that team. But, do you mean just generally, or in regard to knights? If you're referring to knights, war is probably the best option, though it's a mythic. If you're referring to just anything in general, probably something that gains a boost ratio, like a well, not web spinner because it blocks mana. But the one mythic that came out 2 mythics ago, oh, what was that thing called? Anything that has a really good skull boost ratio with a multiplier would work really well. because you could just Queen Jezebel attack buff into it and then follow up with whatever else. But, oh gosh, what's that mythic called? I actually completely forget its name now. It was the one that just came before Mother of Darkness. It was, not even sure what to type in to try to find it. I know it's from Prideland, so let me just go there. Pridelands. Why do I forget your name? You are called... Umanif. Umanif would be really good synergy with it. You could do Queen Jezebel into Umanif and then skull spam out of Sir Quentin. Yeah, Umanif was the one I was looking for. But you can synergize it with that and end up going down that route. Also, if you take out one other troop, you can also do Divine Ishbala plus Quillen. Or why do I keep calling him Quillen? Quentin! You can use Sir Quentin with Divine Ishbala combo into an Umanif plus Queen Jezebel and kind of go down that combo route if you want to. And that would probably work pretty effectively if you happen to have it. No, Shabana was 3 mythics ago, I'm pretty sure. Because that was December. January was Umanif, and this month was, of course, Mother of Darkness, which is no longer in the drop table anymore, which is actually beneficial because she was not the greatest. Highly doubt I'll be using her too much into the future. She has potential to eventually be good, depending on true damage synergies. I say that about almost every single true damage troop once they come out. It's just because they tend to lack better synergies, because they lack board control options more often than not, which slows them down compared to other teams. Is Arena worth it if you get 8 wins 100% of the time? Depends what level range you are, but yes. Too early to mid-game, it's definitely worth it. 100% of the time, regardless if you even get all the way, but definitely if you get all the way. But it stops becoming viable for soul farming as soon as you own either Dragon Soul or Fair Shra. So if you own either of those 2 troops yet, you pretty much don't need Arena anymore, because the rate at which Dragon Soul or Fair Shra, or both together, can farm souls is quicker than that of which you can do in Arena, even with Perfect Wind. But Arena optimally is about 20,000 souls per hour or so. You need some of the bigger weapons to really kill it down quickly, though, like Dawnbringer and such. Yeah, level 80 is 100% worth it. Same as Treasure Hunts. They are going to be buffed later this year, but even right now at that level range, they're definitely fully worth it for the resources that they end up giving. Yeah, at the moment, that will be your best way to farm souls for quite a while. Until you get Dragon Soul or Fair Shra, Dragon Soul being the more likely one that you would get first. You pretty much do all your souls in Arena, with a little bit in Treasure Hunts. But Arena is definitely at a better rate. Not sure how you're spreading your masteries, but at a high amount of green-yellow mastery, and by a high amount, I mean you'll probably have it at the low 100s, you end up getting Runic Blade. And Runic Blade is pretty good for running Arena with. It gains 10 to all stats when you get a kill. And after you take a skull, it can one-shot some things in Arena. And then after you do that, you just basically have infinite stats. Obviously, 10 to all stats outside Arena is pretty low. But inside Arena, due to how low stats are, it's a pretty decent option. I forget the exact amount of mastery you need. I think you need base value 32 for green and yellow. Which I could go double check the exact value real quick. The specific value I'm referring to is the one that you see on the level up page. Not your total mastery, but the one specifically on the level up page. What am I looking for? I'm looking for... Not that. Where is the full weapon thing? I want to go check, 1 second. I want to check what you actually need for that weapon. Weapon. Where's Runic Blade? Runic Blade. Why did it not come up? Am I spelling blade? Oh, I'm doing the wrong category. No, never mind. That's the right category. Why is it not coming up? Blade. Oh, because I'm doing, whoops. I'm doing all the new weapons, not old weapons. That's why it's not coming up. Let's try it again. Runic Blade. There it is. Runic Blade you get at... oh, it's even lower than I thought. 20 green and 20 yellow. So after you get 20 green and 20 yellow, you'll have Runic Blade. Which earlier on in the game is the most accessible, really good weapon for Arena. So you could have that as low as the level you're pretty much at. But depending on how you spread your levels, you'll probably get it around level 120. Assuming you go about even into all of them. You could get it slightly earlier if you focus a little bit more on green and yellow. It's a great option to have for Guild Wars for sure. I mean, not for Guild Wars, for Arena, I mean. So hello, Bushka! Welcome! And hello, David. Hope all of you are having a wonderful Valentine's Day. Any of you doing anything special for today? My day's probably going to be pretty normal. What do we even grab here? I'll go for explosions. Get that going. Oh yeah, 15 or 16, that won't take too long at all then. To get those last little bit of levels. Doing quest lines give you EXP pretty quickly as well. And the main reason for that is they actually give you EXP twice. Every single battle. Basically how EXP works in this game is every single kill that you do, you end up gaining some EXP. However, during quest lines, between every single interval of quest lines, it actually gives you additional EXP. Like every single time you finish out a set of quests. Like pretty much a whole page when it has like 3 or 4 options. Once you complete those out, it gives you some extra EXP on top of the normal EXP rate you already get. So it actually has the highest EXP rate in the game. Unfortunately, they're not repeatable once you've completed them through once, but pretty sure you still have plenty of them that you haven't already done yet at that level. And they're the easiest way to go get quick EXP earlier on in the game. This will be hard to remember, but your clown shoes. Wait, what? Oh yeah, your name in game is Clown Shoes. You did mention that the other day. Keep forgetting that. Let's see. We'll go grab that over. Grab a Splodies. And then we just kill all that out. That reminds me, did we ever recruit the other person? I know we recruited someone else from the stream the other day. Did we ever need another person? No, we didn't. Okay. Not sure if we need to still kick anyone. Should probably double check that later. But I don't think we need to kick anyone else. So we should be good now for peoples. We're still 1 down for Guild Wars though, because if you gain someone midweek, it doesn't actually count towards the Guild Wars. That's not what I'm looking for. How are we doing on Guild Wars right now? We are doing... How are we all the way at the bottom? When did that happen? I think it's because we don't have all of our battles in. Yeah, it's just because we're probably at only 65 battles so far of the 150. We were literally rank 1, and now we're dead last. But it's just because we don't have all of our battles in. But even once we get our battles in, I think we're going to be 2nd or 3rd rather than 1st now. I think it was just because Immortal Berserkers didn't have all their battles in. But we'll see once we get there. It could be that they just have literally all their battles in now or pretty close. It's always really hard to tell. I hate that there's no option here to see how many battles the enemy has already done. So you can't really compare like how you're doing relative to the enemy. Which is a little bit annoying. Because right now it looks like obviously we're dead last, but we're not even close to dead last. It's just because we have a lot less battles in that it shows like that. But once we get those battles in later today, it's going to go right back up. But anyways, back to Barbarian Grind. Did we even gain a level yet? No, we're at 50. At level 55, we'll hand out a code. And should be getting the first level very soon. I'm just surprised we haven't hit it yet. I'm going to check the EXP. Every single time I always do. We're like a few EXP off. Nope, actually a little bit more than that. We must have been like right at the beginning of that level, gosh. Normally we already have some amount of EXP accumulated. Not this time. But we're getting there. Getting to level 70 from where we're currently at, I believe is a total of 7 hours? I believe it's close to 7 hours. And of course we'll be streaming for a few hours today, this morning, and I'll get almost half of it done. Which is why I want to aim for 60 by the end of the stream. Because then we could do the other half, hopefully either tomorrow or just throughout the entire weekend. And then by Sunday, probably have it at 70, ideally. Oh yeah, we did get the permanent seat as the beta tester. They gave it to me and Keylime, since we stream the game, like, literally every day. Well, I stream it every day. He streams it, like, a few times a week. But yes, we will be beta testing whenever it launches. It's probably going to be a few more weeks before it does because they're still trying to get all the new beta people for the thing. They haven't even given out the form yet to apply for the beta testing thing. But we shall be beta testing it. I already have my list of glitches ready. It's not too long of a list. Actually, there's still probably quite a few things missing from it. I just mostly put the more important stuff on there. I'll grab that down. Let's see. Also, I should probably give that page, by the way, the link to that, if any of you do want to apply for it. They don't currently have the form up to apply for it, though. But let me go get the link at least. Where is it? Where did the link go? Linkity-link. One moment. It's buried somewhere. 1 second. There it is. New beta program. They haven't posted a form for it yet, though, I don't think. Let me double check. They said they would do it soon, but it doesn't seem to be on this post. But yeah, here's their post about it, if any of you are interested. They'll probably be accepting applications soon. You don't get paid for it or anything, but it's always great to see the game prior to it actually getting launched. Plus, you'll actually have some influence on it and be able to help fix whatever issues might be around. They don't always get around to everything, but it's always nice to have some influence on it at least. Also, the amount of people in the beta test will probably be smaller now too, given that they're wiping everyone. I think the main reason for that was a lot of people were inactive during beta testing. So they might have had like hundreds of beta testers, yet only like 10 were actually like doing it. We'll get our explosions. Get our split damage down. And all the useless chests, because on tier 3 we can't actually get anything that high. The chance of us getting an epic is about the chance of us getting a Nisha off of Explore 12. That's how low it is for us to get a epic at only Explore 3. And there's 0% chance to get Anu and Nisha at Explore 3. But it's quick class XP, and that's the main reason we're doing it. Class XP is theoretically worth a gem each. So every single one of these battles is technically worth a gem, if you put it relative to how much it would cost if you mass buy the XP. So it definitely saves a lot of resources doing it this way. Because if we were to go the max out of hero class the second it comes out, it costs around 6,000 gems. Which is obviously a very absurd amount of gems to bother spending, just to immediately max out a hero class. However, in the current state of the game, that actually is how much it costs. If you immediately wanted a level 100 of a hero class that's at level 0, it would cost about 6,000 gems during a class event for the class. Actually, it might be a little bit closer to 5,500, but regardless, it's at minimum 5,000. It is a good place to farm. Wire challenges not repeatable. Challenges used to be repeatable when they were under a different format. However, now you just do the same thing on low-level Explore. And low-level Explore actually gives better loot than what repeating challenges used to give. So technically they made it better. Like doing exactly what we're doing right now technically got buffed with the changes they made, not nerfed. Because you get more loot per battle. And you still have the same consistency. Because you can just do it in a kingdom where you're not up against anything intimidating. Nothing with revive, nothing with spell reduction. Nothing that's going to make the battle ever go slower, essentially. Yeah, Nishas are insanely hard to get even when you're actually trying to get for them. You can go days without getting a single token for it. even weeks. And that's with farming. I haven't gotten it for about a month, a single token for it. However, I haven't really been grinding specifically for them much. Do we have a weekend event other than the Battle Crasher? No. We will be getting the Valentine's Day pet tomorrow, though. Other than that, no. This was a pretty uneventful week. I ended up mentioning a little bit earlier, even though I haven't gotten an event video up yet, which I do still want to go just to go over Quentin, if nothing else. Because that's a relevant video in itself, just going over Quentin. But, I did mention on Sunday into Monday that we pretty much have nothing this week other than the Monday event. And they didn't even give us a special Valentine's Day thing today. I'm actually really surprised they didn't do that. I wonder if there's any complaints on the forum, like, hey, where's our Valentine's gems? Or whatever they were going to do for it. I'm really surprised they didn't. And it can't be because of Australian time zone, because they're ahead of time. So if anything, they would have done it yesterday. How long has it been since a White Helm event? Quite a while. I don't recall it being recently. I can go double check when it might be soon. 1 second. White Helm is not within visible sight. Actually, yes it is. April 27th. April 27th is the next White Helm event. That is quite a while. You got like a little over 2 months to go before the next event for that. Still quite a bit out. But yeah, tomorrow we will be getting the Valentine pet, which is the 2019 Valentine's Day pet. So if you didn't get that last year, you'll be able to get that this Saturday off the pet event. Are there fast ways to get multiple copies of troops, or do you need to just hope to get them from keys? You pretty much just need to hope to get them from keys. There are Orbs of Ascension, which you can use to get things from Legend to Mythic. Generally, the small blue orbs are really good for getting things from Legend to Mythic. However, other than that, there aren't really too many things that you would do other than just opening a bunch of keys to end up speeding up the process of upgrading troops. There is one somewhat specific thing in that if you save up a bunch of event keys, those event keys have focus drops on a specific kingdom, and it makes it a lot easier to max anything specifically from that kingdom by spamming a bunch of event keys into it. But aside from that, the main way that you end up upgrading troops is just by opening more keys and accumulating them slowly over time. It's definitely not something that's done quickly. The upgrading process for troops is something that tends to go slowly over time. There are quite a few things that you can infinitely farm. Technically, even troops are one. However, not as much. You can farm the resources related to them a bit quicker, like gold, souls, trade stones, stuff like that. They can farm pretty infinitely at a decent rate. However, the rate at which you end up accumulating more troops is basically put on a little bit of a weekly timer, in that a good majority of the keys that you end up getting are from things like your guild tasks that you get every single week, your dailies that you get every single day, and stuff like that. Things that are limited either per day or per week. So it's not necessarily possible to infinitely rush it. You technically can. If you just keep spamming Treasure Hunt over and over again, you would end up getting a decent amount of keys per hour. Treasure Hunt, when you're rushing through it, assuming you already have the maps, is about 50 to 70 gems per hour. So that definitely stacks up to be quite a bit of gems over time. And something like 60 gems an hour would end up being basically, 6 gem keys. Which is technically farming keys directly. You have 2 to 3 teams maxed out and you have a lot of souls now. Yeah, you will eventually get a surplus of souls. Once you have a surplus of souls, you want to focus a little bit more on gold. At your level range, one of the main things you want to be prioritizing is first, if you haven't already done it, unlock every single kingdom and underworld dungeon in the entire game, so that you have every single banner in the game. That starts to cost 4,000 per kingdom. After that, you want to start upgrading every single one of your kingdoms in the overworld to go do level 3. This will cost, I believe, 2,000 additional gold each. From there, you're going to want to focus on getting all the magic-related kingdoms to level 10, and then getting the rest of the kingdoms to level 10. Getting all kingdoms to level 10 with gold is pretty important to do earlier on in the game, as it's the easiest access you have to higher stats, and helps you get into mid-game smoothly. The way to check to see if they're magic, it's or what stat they have in general. Also, I just froze that page. That was weird. But the easiest way to check to see if what the stat is for a kingdom is to go under the kingdom itself, and then go to the leveling page, and then you can end up seeing what their skill bonus is over here. You want to get every single one to 10, and initially to level 3. But the magic ones are Blighted Lands, Darkstone, Karkaroth, Zolkari, and Silverglade. Those are the ones you want to focus to level 10 first, as they're all magic. And magic relative to anything of gaining +1 towards is the best stat to get +1 towards, just because it's the most valuable. There's a lot of abilities that use it very well. Quite a few troops don't use that at all, but there's others that use it better than any other stat. Yep, no problem. And if you have any other questions, feel free to leave it in chat. Let's see. We'll throw that down for now. And we're always streaming every single day at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. As well as Friday and Saturday mornings like we are right now. Though lately it's been more towards afternoon. What do we grab here? We'll get that for now. Get a Rowan down. Did we still never get that level? No, we got the level. I just wasn't paying attention when we got that level. I was gonna say, we should have gotten it by now. And speaking of level, we should get a big level as well. For level 1519. Hello, Haley! Hello, how do you say that? Isaac? I want to say Isaac. I think that's correct. Hopefully. But hello. Hey, still gnome. It's not a gnome event, but we can still find them, of course. It's at a lower rate. Come on, 5,000 souls, go. Aw, 2,500. Not too bad, though. That's his mid-range drop. I'll take it. As long as you don't give us your worst drop. Does increasing power of a kingdom increase its difficulty? No. Upgrading the kingdom has no effect on the difficulty of anything in the kingdom. Everything from upgrading is pure benefit. The only thing that it technically does is once you get a kingdom to level 10, PvP might be ever so slightly harder. In that the teams, one of the things that determines matchmaking in PvP is the amount of stats you have, among several other factors. And getting kingdoms upgraded to level 10 makes your stats go higher, which makes matchmaking slightly higher. It's not that big a difference. It's based mostly on what your current hero level is, based on your current win rate, and based on your team score. It's based on a few other factors too, but those are the main ones. But no, upgrading a kingdom has no effect on the difficulty of the kingdom itself. Everything in Explorer will stay the same difficulty, the questline itself will stay the same difficulty, and yeah, everything in it still the same. So hello, Ricardo, welcome. But yeah, we're currently on the Barbarian grind. It's such a useless hero class now that they made that change. But I guess you could use it in some red-oriented teams to try to give it a decent amount of mana, or a decent amount of attack. It does have a lot of ways to gain attack, it just doesn't have many good multiplier methods to use it. Which is unfortunate. If nothing else, it does gain Enrage, so at least it gets a 1.5 times. So it's not like it has no multipliers, but it does have a very few amount of multipliers. Which puts it at disadvantage compared to quite a few other of the hero classes that do skull-related damage. Actually, of all the skull-oriented hero classes, I believe the Barbarian might actually be one of the worst, if not the worst. I think it's only behind Slayer. Though it's situationally different. Slayer can actually have a higher skull output than this hero class, Barbarian. But the main reason I say it's a little bit better than Slayer is a little bit more diverse compared to some of the other hero classes. As one thing that this hero class does have as a benefit is it has the most amount of ways to gain attack. However, this isn't as relevant because it doesn't have as many multipliers to use that attack with. And it also has no instant kill like a few other skill-oriented hero classes, which technically have infinite damage. How many treasure maps do I have? Almost 20,000. A little under 20,000. Absurd amounts. It would take us around, what is it, 500 hours to use them all? No, a little bit less than that. 400. Well, no, a little bit less than that. It's 20,000 divided by 60. What does that come out to? It would take us about 333 hours to use every map we currently have. That's how many maps we have. Obviously, we will not be doing that. However, if we were to do that, we'd gain about 20,000 gems. I would actually pretty much gain... I would gain more gem value than our current gem stack. And we'd gain almost as many gems as our current gem stack. However, it would take an absurd amount of time. Even if we did treasure hunts for an hour a day for the rest of this year, we wouldn't even get it done in time. Because, of course, we'd accumulate more maps in that time. But if I did treasure hunt for an hour every single day for the rest of this year, we wouldn't even finish every map we have. However, if we did do that, we would gain like 20,000 additional gems throughout the year. Which is quite a bit. But it's really time consuming to go out of our way for it. So many other ways to gain gems. If I was ever desperate for gems, I'd probably do them. But in the current state of the game, particularly in endgame, you don't really need to worry about it as much. Earlier on in the game, treasure hunt's definitely great to spam. But you reach a point where you kind of have enough gems. It takes a while, but you do eventually get there. Do I have a video explaining Guild War point scoring system? Yes. It's from a little while ago. However, it hasn't been updated since then. See if I can go find it real quick. This video's from a while back. Let's see. What's the easiest way to find it? I'm actually just going to do a general Google search, or a YouTube search. Gems of War, Guild War score. Let's see. No, mine doesn't actually come up. Okay, let me search on my own thing then. Let's see. There's a video. There's an ad trying to play. Go to my channel. I'll need to make an updated one eventually. The only problem is it hasn't changed since I covered it last time. Normally I only make an update video if it has like drastically changed. It's one of the reasons I haven't made like a soul forming video for a while. The method hasn't changed for like 2 years or so now. But anyways, I'm looking for search option and I'm looking for Guild War scoring. Not sure what term I used. Guild War score. Also, it would help if I spelled the word right. I can't find a video on it. Guild War defend build. I cannot find a video on it. But the bottom line on how it gets scored is you want to make sure you do about 4 times more damage than the enemy. You want to do 4 times more mana accumulation than the enemy. You want to, which also means you basically want to take as little damage as possible and give the enemy as little mana as possible. You also want to win in as few turns as possible. You want nothing to die on your team, and if something does die, to resummon it, so you preserve some of the points. And you want to obviously use pure color, so 4 of the color for the day. And other than that, that's pretty much all the things that end up giving you score. For the most part. I think there might be a few hidden values and stuff in there. But generally speaking, those are the main ones you want to target for. It's why you normally see us running a barrier on brown, or a high score reduction troop in first slot, or a really high mana accumulation method, or some combination of all. Because you want to make sure the enemy does as little damage as possible with their skulls, so that you can bait out skulls. And then with those baited out skulls, they're not gaining mana, while also doing almost no damage, which scores very high. So one of the reasons why you see Wild Queen scoring so high, and why Wild Queen is actually so good for Guild Wars, is not only does it get to lower the enemy's attack, it also gets to accumulate mana for you. So basically, it makes it so both of those 2 fields that you need to try aiming for, taking as little damage as possible and giving the enemy as little mana as possible, while also accumulating as much mana as you possibly can, ends up working out pretty good with Wild Queen, because she accumulates you a bunch of mana, She makes it so the enemy skulls do almost no damage, and she can win relatively quickly. So basically every single thing you need to make Guild Wars work, Wild Queen does. It's one of the reasons I normally advise crafting her. She probably won't be available for at least another month or two though. But a great option to have for sure for Guild Wars. It's why we were able to score something like 9,600, 500, or gosh, what even was that word I just said? 6,500, yes, or 9,000. Gosh, okay. It's how we scored about 9,655 yesterday, and teams similar to that. That's generally the method that they use to be able to score so high, like above 9,600. Yeah, quite a few people don't worry about Guild War. Technically, you don't need to worry about it much. It's a lot less consequential than it used to be in the past. Do weapons like removing armor count as damage? No. Nor does skill reduction. However, true damage does. However, true damage only counts for the damage you do. It does not count towards the overall durability. So, for example, if you kill something that has 100 HP and 100 armor, and you kill it by doing 100 true damage, it only counts as 100 damage, not 200 damage. However, armor tier counts as 0 damage as far as Guild Wars scored, and stat reduction also counts as 0 damage as far as Guild Wars scored, unless they've changed it recently. But last I recall, they both count as 0. True damage counts for however much damage you do. However, it does not count for the total amount of their durability when you get the kill. It only counts for the amount of true damage you specifically did. So theoretically, you get half the amount of points from true damage, technically, compared to if you did skull spam or full AoE damage or something else. That doesn't mean true damage is bad. It just means you need to make sure the enemy does even less damage back to you. A bit off topic, but what delves do you consider the easiest to do with a pure faction team without potions? There's two of them that are particularly easy, and it's because both of them have instant kill. It's the Crypt and Stonesong Aerie. Crypt and Stonesong Aerie are the two easiest because Crypt has a 10% instant kill with a 2% per purple, which normally brings it to around a 24% or so for its instant kill chance. And in Stonesong Aerie, I believe you have a 20% or a 25% chance whenever there's a storm, and you can pretty much perpetually have a storm easily with the troops they have available for doing pure faction. But those are the easiest two level 500 pure factions in the game, and it's because they're the only two factions that have instant kill. I'd say honestly Stonesong Aerie might even be easier than Crypt now. Crypt for the longest time was the absolute easiest, but the nice benefit that Stonesong Aerie has is he has multiple different paths to get to the final room, and more often than not in many pure faction battles, the second battle is actually more intimidating than the final battle. Not always, but there are quite a few instances where you're going to lose more to the second battle than the third, to such a degree that sometimes you even just repick the entire delve whenever there's an annoying second battle in between. But the benefit of Stonesong Aerie is it has 3 different paths that only have 1 room to get to the final battle, so you have a lot of options for your second battle, so you don't need to keep repicking it as often. It's not as big a deal to repick, but if you're in some kind of sigil-related event where you're running with potions, it's obviously a little bit more beneficial to not have to repick, since you wouldn't use as many sigils. Hello, Osman! Welcome! Does anyone know what the highest score possible in Guild Wars is? The highest score possible is literally impossible. I believe it is theoretically possible to get about a 10,000 or somewhere around there. I think 10,000 is possible. However, the way that you would get 10,000 or something similar to 10,000 is you would have to take 1 gem off the board and then instantly win. The amount of luck you would need for that to occur is nearly impossible. So you'd basically have to swipe once off the board and then win, which means you'd have to swipe once and then get a chain of skull and mana, because you would need to make sure you gain a lot more mana than the enemy. But you'd basically have to take one single thing off the board and have that chain into all the skulls and mana you need to instantly win the battle without your turn ever ending. So basically this right here would have to end the battle, and if that didn't end the battle, you wouldn't get the max amount of points, which is obviously near impossible. I don't think anyone has actually done that before. It would be a lot easier if you had a Skull Storm though, but or if they ever add like a Skull Storm plus Doomstorm, that would actually probably increase your chance. However, even with that, it would still be very unlikely. like 1 in a million kind of thing. As far as Guild Wars scoring is concerned, if you score over 9,500, you did insanely good. And if you did over 9,600, that is pretty much perfect score. Anything above 9,600 is essentially perfect score. Just because of how hard it is to get actual perfect score. Oh, sorry, David. What was your question? Can you show Guild War defend teams for tomorrow and Saturday? Sure. I'll go show them. Let's see. Did I miss another question? Oh yeah, I was going to look up the other question, which is why I missed your question. My bad. Do weapons like... Oh, no matter. I just did that one. Let's see. Okay, anyways. Let me go do defense. So, the defense that we're using. Did I not go over them on Monday? But, I might not have. Because I forgot to set my defense. Oh yeah, I didn't go over them on Monday. Because I completely forgot to set them. Also, ouch, 0-5 today. I'm actually surprised. That's not that bad of a team. It did pretty good last time. Oddly enough, the one that did best is Yagoi Queen of Tanya. It doesn't even use a single mythic. And actually has the best score so far this week. This one was accidentally set. However, surprisingly won 2-7, which is better than this pretty decent team. Which I found somewhat surprising. But, yeah, 2-7, a 6-11, a 2-9, a 0-5 so far. Tomorrow... Oh, yeah, this is one that actually scores really well. A lot of people don't have Elemental Bow, though. It's Farce Troll, Mirage Queen, King Gob Truffle, and Elemental Bow. This is pretty much a King Gob Truffle team, with the only exception being that it uses Elemental Bow. And the main reason why it uses Elemental Bow is you cannot use double Truffle. Because if you were to use double Truffle, you would get penalized by 500 points. So to be able to get the full amount of points, we just have to use some kind of other weapon. And Elemental Bow just works pretty well because the entire team is Elemental. Except for Hero, but there's currently no Elemental Hero class. And other than that, for Blue Guild War Day, I personally just run a standard Orb Weaver team. I run it with a mirror in first slot. Obviously, it's pretty common to see a Orb Weaver team. Orb Weaver team where you just run Life and Death in second, Arachnian Weaver in third, King Avalon in fourth, and then putting something in first that counters whatever color day you're related to. In this case, a mirror, because she does double the amount of damage to blues, and she'll might be able to get one-shot true damage. And even if she doesn't, she has things that can synergize into that true damage, like an Arachnian Weaver getting a bunch of explosions, and Life and Death just doing its normal annoying amount of damage. But yeah, the base of this team is the bottom 3, and then you just put whatever in first slot depending on what color day you want to run it for. This team can actually be ran for all 6 color days. It is perfectly fine to run for all 6. You just change the first slot depending on what you want, specifically hard counter, with whatever way you want to do it. Another popular option is to use Empower options, so anything that has Empower that denies out the color of the day. So for example, we'd want to have something that Empower converts away blue, which I actually forget which ones do. But the easiest way to do that is just to go under all the Empowers in the game and just try finding which one ends up doing that. Because there should be one for every single color. If we type in Empower, which one denies out blue? I believe you, right? Nope, yellow to blue. You actually create blue. You also create blue. I know one of you deny blue. There it is. So we could go something like First Mate's Axe Blubber, or Axe Lubber, and he ends up converting out blue. And you can just do that for every single color day to revamp the team if you want to. Do it that way as well. Anyways. Axe Blubber. Axe Blubber should be his name. Axe Blubber should 100% be his name. What's the highest Guild Wars score you've ever seen? A little bit over 9,700. It's the highest I've ever done. I'm not sure what the exact number is, but it was slightly over 9,700. The highest we got so far this week, I believe, was a 9,655. Whatever we got yesterday was. How many troops summon, or how many troops summon a troop that also summon a troop? Not too many. There's Orb Weaver. There's Dolkifer. There's theoretically Baby Dragon. Baby Dragon can become Christinix, which then summons a troop. I believe there's a few other. Like, for example, you can kind of consider Dragon Soul 1, since it can transform back to Baby Dragon under 50% chance. But Baby Dragon, under percent chance. Dolkifer at 100%. Orb Weaver Hero class under 50% chance every single time it takes damage. Or 35%, I forgot they nerfed it. I think there might be a few others I'm forgetting. Those are the first ones that come to mind. Pretty sure there's at least a few others though. But those three. Baby Dragon, Orb Weaver Hero class, and Dolkifer. Dolkifer's pretty bad though. The rest of his ability is horrible. You might as well just use Orb Weaver Hero class at that point rather than using him. Because they both summon the same thing, Giant Spider. But yeah, it's a really small list. And most of them are pretty annoying. Because summon spam is definitely not fun to actually face. Though you can normally kill it with quick enough damage that's not a big issue. Because most teams that are centered around it are pretty bad. Orb Weaver being the main exception. Just because you can use any weapon in the game. Which makes it quite a bit better. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's less than 10 troops that summon a troop that summon a troop. I can't think of more than 3 though. Baby Dragon, Orb Weaver, and Dolkifer. If we went through every single troop in the game, I'm pretty sure we could find some more. Let's see, I'll move that over. Unfortunately, it did not cascade full mana. We'll easily get off the Leprechaun and get our free little bit of gold. That gold might not seem like much, like that 26 or so gold that we get like every single time we cast them. Well, technically it's 20, and whatever else we happen to get from falling on the board. But it definitely adds up. Angry Mob? What does Angry Mob summon? I actually completely forget. What does Angry Mob summon? Oh, Sir Gawain can actually summon a summon that summons a summon. Because doesn't Sword's Edge have another summoner in it? I'm pretty sure it does. If anything in Sword's Edge has a summon, then Sir Gawain summons a summoner under % chance. Is he the only summoner for the kingdom? I can't even remember. Do you have a troop you'd like to see reworked? Oh, that's another one that oh, never mind. That doesn't summon a summon. I was gonna say the Watcher from All-Seeing Eye, but forgot it doesn't summon itself. It summons 2 other summons. But anyways, do you have a troop you'd like to see reworked? Oh, a lot of them. Like half the troops in the game. Like if you had to pick one who had... oh, only one. Ooh. That's a hard one. If I only had one in the entire game to rework. Probably Quaidle. If I was to rework any one troop in the entire game, I'd probably say Quaidle. Because I want Rainbow Snake to be viable. Rainbow Snake is, was a really fun troop that I was looking forward to, but then they made, the ability completely useless. All it does is summon, or create 12 of a random gem, which is really bad. For that to be good value, they'd have to make it at least 15 of a random gem. But I'd prefer just to have a completely different ability. Still somewhat the same theme, though. I'd honestly love to see it have like more like a mimic kind of ability. Where it'll either like create 15 red and burn all enemies. Or creates 15 blue and submerge all allies. Or creates 15 brown and stun all enemies. And something like that. They might have to increase the mana cost from 12 to 15. But it is an epic, so epics definitely can reach 15 mana. But I would love to see something like that. Basically making it like a mimic. But like an actual viable random RNG kind of troop. Where it spawns 15 of specific gem at random. And does an effect based on which one it specifically does. Correlated to what it does. Because Quaidle's been dead content since the day it came out. like many troops, but that is one of them. There's a lot of troops with potential. There are so many reworks I would love to make if I could actually have control over that. Unfortunately, I do not. Yeah, a lot of concepts on quite a few troops are interesting. However, they just don't work. Like, for example, that one faction of werewolves. Like, it's an interesting premise. However, it's a really weak premise that makes it completely useless. Even the stronger variants of what the werewolves concept has isn't even that good. It's what Umberwolf does, where Umberwolf transforms either into that one bat or into the oh wait, never mind. It's the one that vampire has. So that one vampire transforms either into a bat or into Umberwolf, and then Umberwolf changes back to the vampire thing, and then the bat changes back to the vampire thing as well. Like, that's a kind of version of it that would work a little bit better, I feel like. But I don't know. Even that doesn't even work that well. Like, you just always use the Umberwolf version of the three. Just because the Perpetual Purple Storm is just much better value than any of the other two. And that's the same problem that the faction has. The Werewoods faction. The Legend is so much better than the other three options. Is this my only account? No, we've made over a dozen accounts over the years. The most recent one we did was the Nintendo Switch account about a year ago. So it's been about a year since we've made a new account then. But the Nintendo Switch account, we ended up getting to about level 1000 or so. And we played that for a couple months when the Switch launched, or when Gems of War launched on Switch, April of last year, around that time. Yeah, we might need to make another account eventually. Normally, whenever we make a new account, we do it around the time when some kind of like major update happens. That happens to change early game, just to see how the new early game experience is. Yeah, most of my older accounts I kind of just scrap after a little while. More often than not. So far, every single new account that we've made since Mythics have existed has gotten a Mythic before level 100. Which I'm actually really surprised by. Yeah, Nosferatu was the name of the troop I was referring to earlier. I kept just calling him Vampire. I forgot his name. Yeah, Nosferatu. How old is this account? This account I made pretty much when the game started. It's a little over 5 years old. Because the game launched in late 2014. In like November of 2014. But yeah, this account's like 5 years and 3 months old. Which is why it seems like we have such absurd resource numbers. Just because we've been playing pretty much since day one. I had an account around level 150 that had 3 mythics or so. Got really lucky. My Switch account got almost half the mythics in the game at the time. Actually, I think it was closer to a third. But it got like 9... Or no, I think it actually had 12 mythics. 11 unique mythics by the time I ended up finishing it out. I might revisit it eventually, though. And it could have been 12 unique, but I forgot to open up keys during that weekend, and then the next key we end up opening was like a double. But during that weekend, it was like a unique Umberwolf. I mean, not an Umberwolf, a unique Megavore, I mean. Which I didn't end up getting, because I opened the keys at the wrong time. I forgot to open them on the weekends that time. But that account wasn't the best guild in the game for a little while, though. My Switch account for about a month was in the best guild on Switch. Because we started playing Switch the second it came out, so we basically just made the best guild in the game during the time with several other people. The next Mythic in March sounds promising. I don't think I've checked it yet. I can go check it real quick. Actually, I might as well show it up on screen. Let's go grab it real quick. Let's see, what's the next Mythic looking like? Let's see, got all that. Where's the web browser thing? Let's see. What is next Mythic? Next Mythic is this it? No. Where'd it go? Where's the Mythic? There it is. Hey, what does this thing do? Up, wrong one. What does this thing do? Oh, okay. You're not gonna do this properly, are you? Let me copy this. Copy, copy. Get rid of that because you guys can't see it. But now you should be able to see it. Okay. The Will of Nisha. Hey, we're finally getting Nisha. So, of course, Nisha token we've had for ages now. Or, not ages, but, you know, it's been, we got it in October, right? So it's been about 4 months now. However, we don't have any Mythic called Nisha. Well, here she is. So, yeah, Will of Nisha is coming in. She's based on the best current trait stone in the game, so I assume she's going to be good. She's a Divine Mystic. Divine aspect's good. Mystic is rather average. It's from Silverglade, which is relevant because this is a Magic Kingdom. As far as what she does is it's a 24 mana cost, purple, yellow, brown, and Arcane Ether, steal 3 magic from all enemies, and deal magic divided by 2 plus 1 damage to them. That's a rather underwhelming ability. It's basically just a full AoE with a magic steal. Let's see, what's her unique trait though? That might be what makes her. She has 25% spell reduction, which is good. And she has all purple allies gain 1 to all stat. Oh, okay, that's why. That would explain it. Yeah, she's the one of the all stat troops. She gives all purples 1 per turn to everything. That's why she's good. And she has spell reduction to go with it. Her ability seems rather lackluster though. No board control. It's pretty much just a standard AoE. Does this happens to have a bit of a lifesteal attached to it. Kind of reminds me of Yagway, but without the board control. I'm surprised it doesn't have some kind of like yellow to purple or something else similar to that. Kind of like what a Yagway does. If it had that, it'd probably be pretty viable. It'd basically be a mythic Yagway, but it doesn't have that, unfortunately. Because it doesn't steal too much more magic than what Yagway does. Yagway steals 2 4s, which is 8, obviously, and she steals 4 3s, which comes out to 12. And if a single thing is dead, then she's only going to be doing 9, which is only 1 better value than Yagway. And if 2 are dead, she'll be actually having less value than Yagway, only stealing 6 rather than 8. And other than that, she's a full AoE. But it does gain a lot of stats off of the extra turns. Though, I guess one interesting relevant thing about this is not counting Bard hero class, which obviously can run with any hero. She's the first normal troop that can do... she is the first normal troop that can do a full AoE off of gaining 1 to all stats per turn. However, at that point, you might as well just use Bard, because she gains half value from her magic, and Bard gains full value. So yeah, overall, it seems like it's going to be pretty bad. It's going to be used for its final trait, obviously, if you are going to use it. But, yeah, it seems like missed potential. They could have made this the Mythic Yagway, but they didn't. It had a lot of potential, too. But yeah, no boost ratio, no nothing. Because that amount of damage, you have to keep in mind, is going to be pretty small. I'm not sure why they made it so small. If that was ×2 on Magic, that would be worth it. But its damage output's going to be in like the 20s. Like the 20s or 30s. That's relatively low for a Mythic of that high of a mana cost. But yeah, it's a weird troop. I don't see this being viable really for much. Other than its final trait. Because there are quite a few purples that would gain a lot of benefit from it. I don't know. They might buff it until then. Or, you know, prior to then. But as it currently stands, it doesn't look like it's going to be that useful. In most situations, you'd probably be better off running Bard. Because doesn't Bard have 20% spell reduction as well? So it's almost no different than a Bard hero class. It's basically a weaker version of Bard. Is basically what it comes down to. Let me actually go double check. If Bard has 20% spell reduction, Bard is almost better in every single way than that Mythic. And Bard's not even considered like one of the better classes. Well, it is considered one of the better classes. It's a little bit above mid-range, but it's not considered one of the absolute best. But it's still a pretty good class. But yeah, it has 20% spell reduction, right? Isn't it under Arcane Tree? Yeah. So it's basically a weaker version of Bard hero class. But for purple. Is basically what the new Mythic is. With the only benefit being is that you can use any other hero class with it, since it doesn't use up your hero class slot. But yeah, hero class is 20% reduction. She has 25% reduction for spells, which is pretty much the exact same value. This thing gives +1 to all stats to all yellows per turn, where she does it for purple. This thing has immune to silence rather than having the spell reduction, so technically it just gains even more in that way. And other than that, it also gains a bunch of other small benefits. Like, for example, its magic actually gains the full amount if you use something like Dawnbringer or anything else. You have a much wider range of what kind of weapons you can use with it. You can get some extra magic if you're in last slot. You can get some extra magic just in general, which pretty much makes up for the fact that this thing doesn't have a life steal or a magic steal. It just gets to start with higher magic in multiple different ways. You get more mana accumulation, plus you have a lower mana cost with whatever weapon you use. And you still even get a Mystic bonus on top of all that if you want to go down that route. So yeah, Bard is pretty much better than the new Mythic in almost every single possible way. Which is unfortunate. Shabanu Vespera gets the loop though, which is a really huge difference. Shabanu can almost infinite loop, whereas this thing ends its turn as soon as it casts. Yeah, hopefully it'll buff Nisha. It's actually really disappointing that the Mythic named Nisha is so bad, given that the token's the best token in the game. Also, I'm curious what correlation Nisha actually has with Nisha's Skull. Nisha's Skull is a weapon that has existed since day one of the game, even though it's been reworked quite a few times to be nerfed into oblivion, because at one point it was the best weapon in the game. But Nisha's Skull visually has like no correlation with Nisha herself. Not sure what the lore is behind that. Though maybe there isn't, because Nisha's Skull was made before the game even started, so maybe they didn't think that far ahead. This is kind of weird because Nisha's Skull is actually a skull-based weapon, obviously, not a magic-based weapon. Which is kind of weird given that Nisha's tokens are magic-based. Is she going to be as rare as the tokens? Pretty much. All mythics are that hard to get. I don't know. Is Nisha actually from something, folklore-wise? I'm not actually sure. Okay, see ya, Chimera. Have a good time. Catch you later. Have a good Valentine's Day if you're doing anything for it. Hopefully, he can tell you in a few days when the book. Oh wait, did you buy the Gems of War book thing? I should have gotten a free copy of it a while back. They were actually giving away a few for free, like a while back, like almost a year ago. We started a series where we started reading through the chapters. I didn't ever end up finishing it though, because it ended up happening due to hurricanes. And then at that point we were like so far behind that I was like, and the series wasn't getting much attention to the point where I was like, okay, I guess we'll just not do it then. But I did end up reading through the whole thing. It's a pretty nice story. And the whole thing's still posted on the forum for anyone to read whenever. I just never bothered reading the whole thing on the channel. Hey, level 53. Making progress. Yeah, she's not the worst mythic in the game. The fact that she gains +1 to all purples per turn is automatically makes her not useless. She's just not particularly good. When did they... What was the comment? When did they add mechanomes in the game? About 6 months ago? I want to say 6-7 months. I believe it was done August last year. Just fought one and got 4 mythic ingots. But yeah, they've been out for a while. I want to say 6 or 7 months or so. Long enough that we have 0 copies of it because we haven't been opening vault keys for at least a little over a year. I'm pretty sure it was like 7 months ago. But yeah, mechanomes have quite a few good drops. They have, the best 2 are 12 epic ingots and 50 epic ingots. Yes, they do have a 50 epic ingot drop. It's very rare. I've never seen it yet, but it is a thing. So it has those 2. It has 20 ultra rares. It has 8 legends, or is it 9 legends? I think it might actually be 9 legends, 8 or 9. And it has 4 mythics. Those are all the ingot drops that it has. And of course it has vault key, like every gnome does. At a very low rate. You got the 50 epic once. I wish I could get it once. We only need about 400 more epics. Getting it once is like 1/8 the full amount we need. But yeah, I definitely should have picked up that book for free when I could have. Not sure if I actually would have gotten one, but they did have some amount of free copies that they were handing out. Not sure who ended up ultimately getting them. I'm not sure if they just gave it out to staff or what, but they gave it to someone. Because they had multiple copies at one point. I don't think it was like hardcovered like the one that they most recently sold though. But it was a printed out physical version. I don't think it was as nice as the one they actually auctioned though. I'll take the blue for now. Yeah, the PDF is out there somewhere, and the full text is also posted on the forum in like 16 different posts because it was split by chapter. Actually, let me see if I can go find the first post real quick. What was the thing called again? The dragon something? It was called the dragon something, or dragons. I know it had the word dragon in it. The 3 dragons. I remember now. Let's see. Let me go see if I can find the original post. Search the 3 dragons. There it is. Found it. But here's chapter 1. Oh no, but the other ones aren't linked to it, is it? I'll just keep searching for 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. Just keep moving up a number. But yeah, here's the very first chapter of it. And the rest of them are all posted on the forum. Let's see. But there it is. Copy, copy, paste, paste. Right, there's chapter 1. I'm not sure where they have the PDF of the entire thing though. But the entire thing is on the forum, posted by chapter. And there's chapter 1. And if you just type that title with 2 and then 3 and 4, you should be able to find each one. I don't think they're all linked together conveniently though. What level is our barbarian right now? It should be 53. Like 1/3 the way through 53 or something. Find out a code at 55. I'll probably aim for 58 or 59 to stream, and then 100% get 60 by tonight. And then do Guild Wars. Actually, I forgot what color Guild War even is today. I just wore a pink shirt because it's Valentine's Day rather than the color of the Guild War. Oh, excuse me. I think it might be blue or something. Let me double check. Guild War. It is. Oh no, blue's all the way at the end. Gosh, today's yellow. Oh, I can't even wear a yellow shirt today. The green screens. Same as green. Same as brown because I don't have any dark brown shirt, oddly enough. I only have light brown. Like basically that exact same color, and I end up getting green screened. All three of these colors green screen on my green screen. Which is why I normally just wear red, purple, and blue for those days. But yeah, we'll just wear the pink shirt today for Valentine's Day then. Anyways, back to these Asian barbarian grinds. Invisible Tacet, I know, right? We can definitely go get the Cloak of Invisibility out. I think I might have them currently on my bed, though. Because I use the bed sheets. Because that's what actually is behind me. A green bed sheet. Just hanged up on a little thing. But it also came with 2 pillowcases and the undercover thing. I forget what it's called. But it came with like the over sheet. The other sheet that you put on. And then the 2 pillowcases. For like 20 bucks or so. The green screen behind me was made for like 25 bucks. Plus I got some extra pillowcases and stuff out of it. Oh, well, we gained on that level quickly. Gosh, we're almost at the 1,519 already. Still got a ways to go till we hit 1,600. We'll get there eventually, though. It's an arbitrary goal by the end of this year to get to 1,600. Get there eventually. Hello, Saper! Welcome! Not in any rush to really get there, though. I think we only gain a useless stat like armor or something once we finally get it. It might be HP. We need to go double check it. It's posted somewhere on the forum, buried underneath a bunch of infos. It exists somewheres. Actually, now I want to go check. Now that I mention it, now I'm too curious to not check what it is. Where to go? Search. Hero level stats, I think might bring it up. Any data on hero stats for levels post 1000? Come on, someone post a full list. Okay. Does this one mention it? No. How is there no mention of this? There's a whole thread going over it. Let's see. Oh, maybe this other thread mentions it. Where is the infos? How hard is it to find this? Yeah, I can't find it. Weird. I know it's out here somewhere. Let's see what happens if we type in level 1600. Does that bring it up? This might be it. Skill levels aren't changing even when you level up. Does this one actually mention what it is? Yes. 1600 is health. Aha! I found it. But yeah, it's 1100's armor, then health, then armor, then attack at 1400, then armor, then health at 1600, then armor, then attack, then health, then all the way at 2000 is magic, and then after 2000 you basically gain no benefit from gaining levels anymore. as far as stats are concerned. But yeah, there we go. Actually, I found the full list. Or at least from 50 to 2,000. You also gain it up to 50, obviously, as well. But you gain it at almost every single level at that point. Maybe not every single level, but the intervals are pretty small. But yeah, the next stat we'd gain is +1 health. Once we finally gain 1,600, which is obviously going to take us a long, long while. Months upon months to gain that many levels. And technically, anything below level 2,000 is not max stats for your hero. Obviously, those little bit of stats don't make too big a difference, but yeah, they add up a little bit. It's definitely something used in almost every battle, so it definitely helps. Okay, blue or green? We'll go green to keep it even. Unless it's purple, in which case we take purple. We actually have the highest purple mastery in the entire game. Because why not? I started doing that and I just never stopped. For no particular reason other than to have the highest purple search chance in the entire game. Which is pretty beneficial whenever we're running a heavy purple team. However, it technically makes every battle that we do that isn't a heavy purple team worse. Just because we're losing about 6 to 12 total percent. Just to have like an extra 1 or 2% for purple. Or sorry, I mean like 5 to 10%. Just to have the extra 1 to 2% for purple. Because I believe my base value is about 64% for most of my other colors. Or 63. Whereas they'd be about 65 or so if we were to actually have gotten them all evenly. And there we go. So I wonder what our trophy count is like these days. Shouldn't be too high this week. Why'd I keep going to Guild Wars? I want to go under Guild. See our trophies. We're at 623. Hey, it's funny. We're actually exact same as the person right below us. Exactly the same. Also, we did reach Legendary Task, right? Yeah, we did. Just to be expected. If we haven't reached it by then, there's a problem. What do we have in mail? Oh yeah, duh. The level up bonus. Of course, one other thing that you gain every level beyond 1,000 is 1 event key and 100 glory. That has been the case since patch version 2.1. They ended up doing that. That's when they ended up increasing levels beyond 1,000. Prior to version 2.1, levels were actually below 1,000. And actually, when the game first started, the level cap was actually 100. And then it was raised to 1,000 a little after. And then about a year after, once 2.1 came around, they ended up increasing it from 1,000 to 10,000. It's actually impossible to reach level 10,000 though. 2,000 is technically max level, because you stop gaining any substantial benefit beyond that point. The only reason it goes all the way to 10,000 is just because to give people something to actually keep getting up. Because the issue before when they stopped at 1,000 was people would just get it maxed and then have nowhere to go after. Which is why they increased it to 10,000. So even if somehow people get to 2,000, they can still grow slightly. Hey, normal noom. Anything from it? Volky? Nope, 2 minor reds. Gosh, that's like one of his worst drops. How many minors do we even have right now of every single color? Probably a lot. Let's see. We have about 15,000 of every single minor. Some of them are higher, some of them are lower, but on average we have about 15,000 of every minor traits done in the game. And I don't think enough red's the absolute highest. Oh no, it isn't. Brown is, but it's almost the highest, which is surprising because at one point more reds were needed than any other color in the game by quite a substantial amount, like by 20%, 30% more reds were needed. It's kind of weird that it's almost even now at this point, or even like the second highest, almost highest. Kind of weird. Also, you can tell how few major trade stones you end up using. We almost have more majors than we have miners. That is absurd. Just because of you end up using way more miners than you use majors. However, the rate at which you get majors is way higher than the actual rate at which you need to use them. Which makes majors the most common trade stone in the game, even though commons theoretically are. But that's just because you need so many more commons. That relative to that, majors technically are the ones you have the most of. They've done some things to try to balance that out some, but overall you'll still eventually reach the point where you have way more than you need. Same thing happens with Celestial eventually. Early on in the game that's not the case, but as more time goes on you eventually reach the point where you have more Celestials than you ever need. At least from a trading perspective. There's a few other things you could use them for, however they're primarily used for trading of course. The main other thing you use them for is for weapons. Quite a few weapons require some amount of Celestial trade stones to craft. As well as mythics. Don't mythics actually cost some amount of Celestials? Like 8 each or something? It's a cost that I don't normally associate with mythics. But, doesn't it? Or was it just a few select ones? Like the, yeah, never mind. Yeah, every mythic does. Actually, the select ones don't even require. Actually, yes, does. Xenos does. No, not even Xenos. Yeah, just the normal ones do. Legends cost 4 and mythics cost 10. It's probably where the other pretty big sink for them is. Between that and weapons. Hey, we got a map. Oh yeah, someone asked earlier how many maps we had, and like even answered, but I never actually checked to see how many maps we had. I just know we have a little under 20,000. Never mind, it's now a little over 20,000. We have 20,062 maps. That is a lot of maps. Maps have devalued so much, we're basically using them as those little mats that you put underneath cups. What are those called? Placemats? There's a special name for them. Those little things that you put underneath like mugs and stuff. Coaster. That's their name. They're pretty much like coasters now at this point. They've gone down in value that much. At least later in the game. How many diamonds do I have? Too many. We have enough to craft like 14 mythics. But I can go double check the exact amounts. We are currently at... We haven't even done our things yet today. We're at 60,796 diamonds. And we can also get a number of 5,710 more than that. Which means we can currently craft 16 or 17 mythics. Let's see, what's that number come out to? 1 second. What's the... Let's do some maths. That comes out to... Oh, it's not enough to get another. Because the 4, you do that into a 5. You have 10, you have 5. 16. Yeah, it doesn't go any higher than that then. We can craft 16 mythics right now. 16 and a half. We can craft 16 and a half mythics at this current moment in time. If we were to go to transform those to diamonds. Which we'll do eventually. But yeah, we can craft 16 and a half mythics right now. That's a lot of mythics. But yeah, I haven't used diamonds for a while. Because we just obtain every single new mythic off the keys. That's why I keep saying that we need a diamond sink in the game. Which might seem weird to a good majority of players. However, the top like 0.1% of players have more diamonds than we know what to do with. Because we don't use diamonds to get mythics, we use keys to get mythics. Which makes it so we have nothing to spend diamonds on. Because I have every weapon in the game and I have every mythic in the game. And those are the only 2 things you really spend diamonds for. There's currently nothing else to really use them for. Other than transforming them into souls, but that's horrifically bad value. But yeah, I don't think I've spent diamonds for anything for almost 2 years now. Or a year and a half. It's been a very long time since we've used any diamonds. I think one of the only times I ever even used diamonds was to craft a 4th fair Shra. That and Xenos if it required it. As well as Zugoff if it required it. And no, we don't need a diamond sink. Aww. A mythic weapon that costs 20,000 diamonds, though. Or a mythic that costs 50,000 diamonds. No, I highly doubt they would do that. The diamond economy is actually pretty well balanced for a good majority of players. It's just people who've been playing for a while have more diamonds than they ever know what to do with. Because they didn't balance it that well for that part of the game. But they balanced it pretty well for pretty much anyone who didn't start off already owning everything. Because Mythics didn't come out until about a year and a half into the game cycle. And at that point, people had like over a year to accumulate resources prior to Mythics ever being released. Hey, Glory Gnome, drop 1,000 glory, you know you want to. It's the best drop any gnome has that isn't a Volky. Yeah, 1,000 glory, very nice. That's worth a lot. It's worth 45 gems. 1,000 glory is 50 glory keys. 50 glory keys is worth about 5 gem keys. 5 gem keys is worth about 45 gems. It's the most valuable drop any gnome has that isn't Volky. As far as standard drops, it's the best drop on any gnome. You'll trade you 10 million gold at a time for 1,000 diamonds. I would take that trade. I need 10 million gold way more than I need 1,000 diamonds. Unfortunately, there's no way to trade them. I'm really curious what the value of everything would be if literally every resource was tradable for other resources, including cards. Like what the value would come down to everything. They would never do that, obviously, because it would completely devalue almost everything in the game. But I'm curious what the values would come out to if that was to ever be a thing. Most legends would probably cost about 50 to 100 gems. Most mythics would probably only cost about 500 or so gems. Unless they're really meta mythics. I'm curious what some of the other resources might actually come out to, like diamonds and such. If it was like tradable for anything in the game. I feel like diamonds would either be worth 1 gem or 2 gems each. One or the other. It really comes down to what the value of a mythic would be. Because diamonds would be a lot less valuable if you could just trade for mythics. So never mind, they might actually be worth less than a gem. In their current value right now, they're worth 1 to 2 gems. Like, without being able to trade. But if trading ever existed, which it never will, obviously. But if it theoretically, hypothetically ever did, they would actually go down in value a lot. Just because why would you specifically craft a mythic if you could just go and buy a mythic for like 500 gems or something? Or 1,000 gems, whatever they would get valued at. The more meta ones would definitely be higher, obviously. But the more useless ones, like Shadow of Zorn, being like, here, take it. Like 100, 200 gems. Actually, if trading was ever to be added to the game, it would benefit newer players way more than it would benefit the people that own everything. It would make it easier for the people who own almost everything to own everything. But for the people that literally own everything, it wouldn't really help them at all. It would mostly help newer players because it would devalue everything in the game by a lot, which is why they would never do it. Because right now they try selling mythics for like 50 bucks. If trading ever existed, a mythic would be worth like a few bucks. Because there'd just be so many people who are later in the game who have so many spare mythics that they never need. Yeah, 2 gems per diamond is about what their current value is. In the current economy of the game, a diamond is worth about 2 gems. That is correct. If trading ever existed, they would go down substantially, though. Because people who own multiple copies of any mythic would give away those mythics for less than a few thousand gems. And if you needed that mythic, it would be way easier to spend a few thousand gems on the mythic than it would be to buy diamonds for 8,000 gems. Or, you know, 4,000 diamonds for 8,000 gems. But yeah, their current value is at 2 gems each. 1 to 2 gems each, depending on how you value it. And it's probably closer to 2 gems each. Because if you compare it to the value of how many gem keys you would have to open in order to get a mythic, I believe that comes out to 9,000 gems, if I'm not mistaken. Is it 9,000? No, it's, oh no, I guess it depends what you'd consider the drop rate, because at no point would you opening keys ever give you 100%. So it really depends what you consider better value. But opening 2,000 gem keys is a pretty good, almost 100% chance of getting a mythic. And that costs 9,000 gems. So you could theoretically consider a 100% chance of a craft of a mythic as 2,000. I mean, as 8,000 gems. 2 gems each per diamond. Well, it's hard to value specifically, because it has the capability of giving you any mythic in the game, whereas keys aren't necessarily always that case, unless there's a specific mythic out at a given time, like what we just had for Mother of Darkness for last week. The Mother of Darkness is out of the drop table now, to be mindful of that, which is actually a good thing, because she was pretty useless. Not useless, but you know, she's not one of the better mythics, unfortunately, especially after her nerf. So hello, Huan, welcome. Thank you for a reminder, since you opened up over 1,500 Mother of Darkness and you didn't get her with gem keys. Yeah, I know. It's possible to open around 2,000 and still not get it. It's likely likely that you would. Like, really likely. I think the percent chance is like 80-something or 90-something after 2,000. But it's obviously still possible to not get it at that point. I'm trying to think of the most gem keys I ever opened for a mythic. I think the most gem keys was around 2,000 or so. Might have been 2,500. I know that the most VIP keys we ever opened was 3,000, which is the equivalent of about, or sorry, not 3,000, 300. 3,000 would be absurd, but it was 300 VIP keys, and 300 VIP keys is the equivalent of wait, how much is that equivalent of? It's 50 per thing. That's 500. So that's the equivalent of about 3,000 gem keys. Theoretically, 6,000 as far as gem drop rate is concerned. So wow, we got really unlucky on that then. But yeah, the mythic drop rate of 6,000 gem keys is the equivalent of 300 VIP keys. So that's how unlucky we actually got for one of the mythics before. And I believe that was for Amnesia, if I'm not mistaken. Was the one that we got that unlucky for. And she wasn't even a good mythic. Even at the time, she wasn't good. Though Daemons were more meta at the time. There was one point when pretty much every team you would ever use were Daemon-based. That quickly changed over time, though. Right now, the strongest typing is probably Elemental overall. It's because it's the strongest typing that still has 50% mana start. It's even stronger than Divine back when it had 50% mana start. Which I find kind of funny because they nerfed Divine, but they didn't bother nerfing Elemental or anything else. I really wish they would bring Divine back to 50%. It wouldn't be game breaking in the current state of the game. And I wish they would add some fun 50%, like Dragon 50% or something. So I should probably restart the game. That loading screen keeps getting longer and longer. Let's go take our tribute, get our 10 gems on average, and quite literally 10 gems there. And go restart the game real quick. Where's the launcher for it? There it is. Bring that back up. Loading, loading, loading. The Guild War Vespera team is 1 Thrall, Vespera, Doomed Scythe, and Skeleton. I guess you could run it with double Thrall if you want to. But I run it with Skeleton just to have an extra turn skull chance to align or convert for the purple Scythe. Yeah, it's this team right here. Where'd it go? Go wear purple. But yeah, it's Thrall, Vespera, Doom Scythe with Archmage's hero class with Skeleton. That's why I end up running for it. Started running it for the last 2 Guild Wars, and it's been working pretty well. So I'm probably gonna stick with it this time. Or not last 2 Guild Wars. I only used it for the previous Guild War. So this will be the 2nd Guild War we ever use it for. You can use a 2nd Skeleton instead if you don't have Scythe. It makes it so you get a bit less mana, but you'll have more consistent skull spam. It will probably score slightly lower, but it'll still win in the same way. And you don't get penalized for using multiple of the same offensively. Defensively you do. Offensively you don't get penalized at all. Check Discord. I'm not on Discord right now, but I can go open it real quick. Why? What's on Discord? What did you send me? What did you send me on Discord? It's loading right now. Loading, loading, loading. Probably take a minute. Looks like it's trying to update or something. But yeah, that Vespera team can be built pretty cheaply. Vespera is the only expensive thing. It can quite literally be ran with the rest of the team as common. It ends up still working out quite nicely. Also, 1 level till we give out code. Also, I do not see any message from you. Let's see. Unless it's under my thread thing. Let's see. Oh yeah, I need to go answer those other 2 questions. I need to check Discord in general more often. Let's see. But yeah, what did you want me to check? I don't see any specific notification. I don't see any anyways. Because those are just live streams. Those are the other things. Is there any way to get rid of these so they don't keep notifying me? I don't want notifications for those 3. Pretty sure there's a way. Let's see. Edit channel. Oh no, that will edit for everyone. Pretty sure there's a way to make it so I don't get notifications from those 3 channels. Just so I get notifications from the more important ones. But anyways. What did you want me to check there? Let's see. Oh, the Dragon Peak Discord. Let's see. Where's the Dragon Peak Discord? That's not it, that's not it, that's not it. That's not it. There it is. Let's see. Isabel, I like what you named the pet. That's funny. Let's see. Oh, you put me on your big screen. Nice. That looks pretty cool on there. Very nice. Is that what you wanted to show? I assume so, because you just posted it today. Like literally 5 minutes ago. But nice, I'm on your nice big TV. And that's one of the benefits of streaming at 1080p now. We've been streaming at 1080p for about 4 months now since we got a new computer back in November. So never mind, 3 months then. But looks a lot better on TV then. because it's not as pixely at 720. There's no way I'll be able to stream higher than 1080p anytime soon, though. Even though TVs are starting to get to that point. You play on the Switch. How can you get City of Thieves in the Underworld? It might not exist yet on Switch version. Switch is about a year behind as far as content. Depending on what category of content, it's about anywhere from about 8 months to a whole year behind. And for that reason, I'm not sure if City of Thieves even exists on Nintendo Switch yet. So you might see some things that I'm playing on that are in this version of the game that aren't on Switch. For whatever reason, due to how the policy is on Switch, the platform is always ever so slightly behind. You also have to keep in mind that the Switch version launched way later than every other version of the game. Most of the other versions of the game have been out for 4 or 5 years now, whereas the Switch version came out last April. It's not even a year old yet. But yeah, it's a little bit behind as far as updates are concerned between all those factors. And I'm pretty sure City of Thieves doesn't even exist on Switch yet. I'm not even sure what faction they're up to. But if you don't see in the Underworld, like if you go to Underworld and you don't see the image of City of Thieves anywhere there, that probably means it hasn't released yet on Switch. But that probably means it's somewhat soon, because City of Thieves was not that far back. I think it was like 6 or 7 factions ago. So Switch should be getting it soon if you don't already have it. It's pretty relevant too, because it's the best faction to farm in the entire game. If, when City of Thieves end up releasing on Switch, you should consider keeping at level 20. It's the best farming faction in the entire game. Even right now, with all the factions that have come out since then, it's still the best farming faction in the game. That reminds me, speaking of easier to chat, I've been meaning to try hooking up a keyboard to my phone to see if it would work. I still haven't bothered doing that yet. It should work. Because I absolutely hate using the typing thing on there. Now that I say that, I almost want to test it right now. Haha! It is tempting. Let's go gain our level first. Yeah, I don't put too many things on my TV. I have one like literally right there. But I pretty much only use it for if we ever need to stream off of it, or if I'm going to be doing console gaming on it. I don't really use it for too many other purposes. Though I do have a Google Chromecast, so I could put like YouTube up on there and other things like that. I just don't really bother. I could even put my phone up there if I really want to, have a big screen for it. I still haven't found a way to capture the thing though with it. Because even though I can get it up on screen, I can't go get it both up on screen and capture it simultaneously. Because how the setup works. Which is kind of weird. Also, did we just gain a level? We kind of like spammed quick through that a little bit too quickly. But I think we just gained a level. Never mind, that wasn't level. Never mind. Oh wait, what did we get for the gnome loot though? Maybe that's what I was looking at when I thought we gained a level. What did we get for the gnome loot on that? Because I clicked through it so quickly. Come on, load already. Let's see, what do we get? Oh, we only got 2 miners from it. That's why it looked like a level, because it has that like that same similar background kind of color. Fail. What do we grab here? I'll take the brown for now. Get that. Hopefully get lucky off of something on a cascade. Nice, and he's dead. So close yet so far. Also, I'll probably give out the bigger code tonight, I think. We'll give out a small code for now. But for Valentine's Day tonight, we'll give out the bigger code. Yeah, did any of you have any special Valentine's plans today? Or pretty much just a normal day? And I feel like everyone I keep talking to has like no plans at all for today. Let's see. We'll grab that for now. What do you say is the best team against Frost Mage, Rope Dart team on Blue Day? Which one is it? The Quillen Divinish Bala one? Oh, just Chinese food for dinner. That sounds nice. Getting takeout or something. Yeah, if you guys are here, you're a loners. Good point, Lamberto. There's nothing wrong with that, though. Ooh, steak. That sounds nice. You got roses and chocolate, and we went to a steakhouse. Nice. Sounds like a great combination. Actually, I did pick up those cherry things that I really like. Those chocolate-covered cherries with the juice inside. I pick them up pretty much every Valentine's Day. Because for whatever reason, a lot of stores by me don't actually sell them. Except in February, around Valentine's Day. You guys don't do anything except handmade stuff or stuff under $5. Oh, that's nice then. Handmade stuff is normally more special anyways. You're planning on watching my live stream? Nice, Foro. That's a great Valentine's Day plan. Cherry crocodiles? No, I can't have those. I'm allergic to nuts. It's what brand is it? There's like only one specific brand I can really eat because every single other one may contain nuts. It's I always forget its name. I know exactly what the box and everything looks like. I always forget its name. It begins with C. Let's see, chocolate covered cherries, and then type the word C. We'll probably bring it up in Google search. Let's see, chocolate covered cherry C. Cellas? Was it Cellas? That sounds correct. Cellas? Yeah, that's the right one. But yeah, it's the Cellas chocolate covered cherry things. It's like one of the only brands I can actually eat because they aren't made in a factory that process any nuts. Oh, so hello, Sapera. Welcome. No, I didn't say cherry crocodiles. I was saying the cherry-covered chocolate things. Or the cherry Cellas. Cellas is the brand, not the what it is. And dead already. Oh, so we still not getting that 55? We gotta double check how much more XP we need. I'm really surprised we haven't gained it yet. How close should we be? That's what I thought. 5 XP off. And then we'll hand out code. Now you're hungry, I know, right? Too much chocolate conversation. Yeah, they're pretty good. They were my favorite chocolate, actually. Though in all fairness, I am pretty limited in my chocolate variety that I can eat. But they are pretty nice. The only problem with them is the packaging. Their packaging is completely closed off in most situations. There are some of them that they sell that aren't. But when they are closed off like that, it's hard to tell if they're actually broken or anything. Which is the only really annoying thing about their packaging. They do sell some that are like more open-faced. But a good majority of their packaging is just completely closed off. You're not seeing any pet gnomes that imps are around? Well, they don't get reduced. Gnomes actually have priority over imps. So if you were to get a gnome and an imp simultaneously, you would get the gnome instead, not the imp. Hey, there we go. There's that level. Okay, let's hand out code. I'll have a special one tonight for Valentine's Day. Or Valentine's night at that point. Let's see. I'll hand out a normal one for now. The good old normal loot. If nothing else, you can use this gem key to go get a Mother of Darkness. Now that she's not in the drop table, you can actually get a good mythic potentially off it. That isn't her. But here you guys go. Here is the redeem code. Used on gemsofwar.com or the game code section. Same place as always, or simply click that link. Your invite code can be found in your settings menu, where the game says right there in the bottom left corner. Redeem code is right over there in chat. Copy paste the random numbers and letters. And it gives the same reward as always: 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, and 2,500 gold. Enjoy, everyone. There you guys go. Okay, next order of business. Let's keep going. Gain more levels. Probably aim for about a 57, 58 little level there. And then do a little bit more grinding tonight. Should be able to get at least 3 more levels in, I think. At the rate of EXP, we should be able to reach 100, or not 100, I wish. Reach 58 by the end of this hour. Yep, no problem, everyone. Enjoy the code. Gosh, now all this talk of chocolate makes me want to go eat the chocolates I was just talking about. You guys made me hungry for chocolate. I put them in the fridge too, so it'd get a little bit harder. Not the freezer though, otherwise the thing inside gets like completely solid, and then it's not even like edible. But it's nice when they're a little bit stiffer, just not rock solid stiff. So that reminds me, those roses should have probably gotten here by now. I should probably go check the front door. If I'm gonna go get the cherries, I should probably check the front door as well. I don't think they would just randomly leave it there. They would have knocked or something. I don't have a doorbell, but I haven't heard any knocks this entire stream. No sale at the fondue place? No, they're doing basically an inverse sale. It's actually more expensive, but they're doing it like all special. But no, there wasn't any sale there. But they have like a special experience for it today. Yeah, they're charging almost double today. It's not exactly double. It's actually only about like 20% more. But compared to sale price, it's double. Because obviously Valentine's Day would be a really big day to go there. Because they literally have whole pots of chocolates with strawberries and stuff to dip in them. Like, it's really Valentine's Day themed. So they're price gouging it for money. I'm pretty sure they make more on Valentine's Day than they do in an entire week. If it's Amazon shipping, they'll leave it for sure. No, it's not Amazon. Actually, I'm not sure what they're doing it through. I didn't bother asking him what method he ended up doing it through. It might have actually been a local flower place too. I'm not even sure. Because I know there's one actually within walking distance from me. That probably gets a lot of business today. It's almost right next to the high school. I've walked past it multiple times before. It's a little bit out of the way, but depending on which way you walk, it's possible to go past it. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised places like that can still stay in business. Like places that just sell flowers and nothing else. There's actually a place by me, or it's not even by me, it's like 20, 30 minutes away, that all they sell is Christmas stuff year-round. They don't sell anything but Christmas stuff. Like anything you could possibly want for Christmas. And they somehow managed to stay open year-round. I have no clue how. Because obviously they'd only really have sales for 3 months. December, November, and October. For the most part. Oh yeah, Tanya's pretty bad. I use him for my Guild War defend, but oddly enough, it actually has 0 wins. That one team. It's not that bad of a team. It's done good on like a couple of them, but that's the only thing I even use Tanya for. Is it has good synergy with what's her name, with Wild Queen, but what defend day was it? Actually, I might as well just check my guild thing. But yeah, it says 0 wins. This is the only time I ever use Tanya, is for this defend team right here. And it's Wild Fang, Fist of Zorn, Tanya, and Wild Queen. I'm surprised it's at 0 wins, though. Could just be unlucky. Because obviously with that few of battles, it is possible just to not win any of them. But, it would also be helpful if we were running with attack, but we need to armor right now for what we're currently doing. But yeah, it's the only team that hasn't gotten a single win yet. But yeah, Tanya is pretty underwhelming, for the most part. All he basically is a triple stun into a little bit of damage. His summon's not that good. He has a condition on needing to have higher attack, which you have to go out of your way for. And his traits aren't really anything too special. Yeah, he's rather underwhelming mythic. But I do use him for that one really specific defense team. And it has done good in some guild wars in the past. This guild war just doesn't seem to be doing that well. Though anything that gains like a 10% win rate is technically doing okay for guild wars. Anything that gains like a 20-30% is doing absurdly good. Like the Yagwe Queen of Tanya on that day. It had a little over 30%, I think. Oh, speaking about things, I just hear a car up front. That sounds like one of those shipping cars. We might hear a knock in a few minutes. Or a minute. Shouldn't take them that long to knock on the door. Oh, now it went away. But it didn't actually knock, so. They either left it at the door, or that was for someone else. Although it could also just been the speed bump. There's a speed bump near my front of my house. So it sounds like a bigger vehicle than that. Vehicle speculation. Anyways, I'm gonna go get those chocolates now. Let me just double check the front door, just in case there is anything. Nope, nothing was there, but I got the chocolates. Sellers. Let's see. Can I get that in frame? They are these things. That's just green screening. That's kind of funny. It's green screening the yellow. But they're pretty nice. These are these little things. And they're filled with chocolate. I mean, they're filled with cherry thing. But yeah, they're very good. They're like my favorite chocolate. Hey, Maximuse. Yeah. Chocolate's giving us good luck. They have them at your Dollar Tree? How many do they have in it? And is it Stella's brand? I've never seen them that cheap. Normally it's like $3 for a container of 16. I almost never see Dollar Tree selling chocolate that I can actually eat. Even a lot of the gummies and other things that they have, like candy-wise, I can't even eat there because most of them are made contained in factories that produce nuts and other things. Also, gosh, I can't even grab these. There we go. That's the only problem with putting them in the refrigerator is they harden up some. Sometimes they get stuck in the container. They dropped the chocolate ingot. Actually, I didn't even pay attention. What did we get for the ingot there? Wasn't even paying attention at all. What you got? 20 Ultra, not bad. That means 2 epics. We basically got 2 epics from it. Yeah, we got 20 Ultra Rares, which is the equivalent of 2 epics. And no need for milk with it, just pure water. I've been trying to stick with just water for pretty much everything, as much as I can. I've still been cheating occasionally, but I've been trying to stick with just water. Been for a while now. I keep cheating occasionally though. Well, half the container down. Probably save the other half for later. As I say that, I'm so tempted to go for more now. Yeah, well, I had 3 this stream. I had 5 earlier. And now I have the whole other box. And a little divider. We got a hat. Got the divider hat. There we go. It's almost green screening too because the reflection from the light. It's Valentine's Day splurge. Oh no, I could go walk and get another case of them. Not sure if I feel like walking today though. But it's less than a mile away if I wanted to go buy more. Hello, Remingford. Welcome. Yeah, we'll still be streaming for about another half an hour to hour. Just eating some Valentine's chocolate. I'm focusing on upgrading Barbarian. Still 55 at the moment. Oh yeah, we still need to stream Ring Fit Adventure. It's a pretty funny game. It's actually, for an exercise game, it is a really solid RPG. Like, not the best RPG you're ever going to play, not even close. But if you compare it to, like, exercising standards, it's like the best RPG ever that's made into an exercise game. Like, I had low expectations going in, and it really blew me away. Quite literally, because you actually have a blow function on the ring as well. Which is more like a suck than a blow. Actually, yeah, you do blow it out as well. Never mind. You do both. What do we go for here? Let's go for the 3 explosions. Hopefully get some value off it. Lochnar. Not like that. Dirty mind. You're not sure that's fit for a PG-13 stream. I hate when it shatters sideways. Because then all the juice goes everywhere. You normally don't break like that, but if your refrigerator freeze them, they do. But it's nice having them harder like that, taste-wise. Otherwise, they get soft really quick, or they'll melt on your hands. If the refrigerator is slightly frozen, they don't melt. Yeah, it's a natural cherry with a bunch of cherry juice. Covered in milk chocolate is basically what it is. The juice isn't actual cherry juice though, but the cherry is an actual cherry. I don't think the cherry is actual cherry juice. If it is, it has a lot of sugar in it, added in other stuff. But it's definitely 100% a real cherry. And really good milk chocolate. Yeah, it looks like that, kind of. Right there. Am I even showing it correctly? I can't even see my face cam. Where to go? Let's see. Oh, we don't have good lighting for it. Here. Oh, that's too much lighting. The struggle. Getting correct amount of lighting. Yeah, that right there. This is what it looks like, pretty much. I would show the actual thing, otherwise the juice would go everywhere, obviously. Is that what they're actually called? I was just calling them chocolate covered cherries. Oh no, I'm running low. I only have 5 left. What will I do? No, they're definitely not alcoholic. It is 100% not alcoholic. Otherwise, they wouldn't be sold the way they are. Let's see, let's read through the ingredient list. We've got ourselves, let's see, milk chocolate, sugar, cocoa butter, milk chocolate, soy lecithin, and emulsifier, vanillin, and artificial flavor, cherries treated with sulfur dioxide, a preservative, sugar, corn syrup, citric acid, sodium benzoate, a preservative, artificial flavor, calcium chlorate, artificial color, red 40. Real cherries may contain pits. Also, it's made in Chicago. I never realized these were made in Chicago. I might need to go find the plant directly. Buy like a whole bulk thing from them. Next time I'm in Chicago, field trip to Sella's headquarters. My opinion on the upcoming monk class is going to be one of the best classes in the entire game. I still feel like Titan's going to be overall better, but it has potential to be like the second best or third best class in the game, and situationally better than Titan. It's going to be really good. Has Berry every brown, has more immunities than any other hero class, has cleanse on extra turn, gains 3 mana every extra turn, has a lot of value going for it. Probably going to be better at not dying than Titan. Seems like a bit of an in-between. Between Sentinel hero class and Titan hero class. Pretty much having all the benefit of both. I'm not mistaken, doesn't it have 20% skull dodge too? Or was I thinking of barbarian class? Never mind, I might have been thinking of barb. I never said Mother of Darkness was good though. I said Mother of Darkness was weak, and then they still nerfed it. I at no point said Mother of Darkness was good, even pre-nerf. And then they nerfed her for some reason, which made her useless. Or not useless, but a lot worse. There we go, another level. 2 more to go. Let's get at least 58 to stream. Then we can push to 60 tonight. Well, the main thing she was good pre-nerf. I never thought she'd be viable though. And the main reason for that is mostly because she's double kill based rather than hitting everything simultaneously. So you'd have to do a cast into a cast in order to kill. Compared to Scorpius, she did not have enough damage to do Explore 12. So even though she had a really high damage, the high damage was not enough to do Explore 12. And then the only other location where you would really use her is PvP in Guild War. And yeah, she would have been good for PvP in Guild War. But that would have been her only purpose, is PvP in Guild War. She would have had no real use outside of those 2 game modes. Because she has a double kill concept, or previously she had a double kill concept where she could easily just double kill automatically into another double kill. But it wasn't as much damage as Scorpius, which was the biggest thing holding it back. And then they nerfed it so it would never get any kills. Are chances for Arcane drop trait stones higher on higher level Explorer? No. The trait stone rate for every single Explorer level is actually the same. The metal rate, or the token rate, they end up getting does increase based on difficulty. However, trait stone rate is the consistent throughout every single difficulty. So technically the lowest ones are the best ones to do for trait stones. So like right now we're actually getting pretty much the best rate for trait stones. The only real exception to this is the guarantee arcane that you get is based on how many myth stones you end up getting. Every 100 myth stones gives you a guarantee arcane. And in that regard, technically Explore 12 gives you the best rate for arcanes, if the only thing you care about is arcanes. But if you care about every single trait stone in the kingdom, then doing low-level Explorer is actually better overall. But yes, theoretically, Explore 12 is still better just because you get a guarantee arcane every single, pretty much every other battle you do. Or, you know, every 8 battles, or 10 battles will basically give you, or sorry, every 9 battles will end up giving you, never mind, that's still not correct either. Every 11 battles will give you a guarantee arcane. Because first you'll do 4 and then 1, and then you'll get reset, then you do 4 and then 1, and then you can go do a mythic battle, and then that mythic battle gives you a guarantee 1 arcane. And that happens way more often on Explore 12 than at lower rarities, or on lower difficulties, just because you have, you're getting way less myth stones. I think at Explore 3 we're getting like 10, if even that, every single time. Whereas we get like 70 something when we do at the higher level. Yes, you do get way more arcanes at higher Explorers, that is correct. But it's not because their drop rate is higher, it's because you're getting more guarantee arcanes. The drop rate's the same, but the guarantee arcanes makes the arcane rate higher. Like the percent, basically what I'm saying is the percent chance per battle is the same regardless of difficulty. But the higher difficulty you do, the more myth stones you get, which means the more often you'll cycle the guarantee arcane, is basically the bottom line of what I'm getting to. So yes, Explorer 12 has the highest arcane rate by far, but it has the exact same trait stone rate, technically, of every single other Explorer. Drop rate does not seem to be the same on mini-boss. What do you mean by that? I believe mini-boss might have a slightly higher chance for arcane. I'm not 100% certain on that. I know for sure that compared to what the rate used to be, the first 4 battles have a reduced chance compared to what it normally was in the past. Yeah, Stone Tree is really strong. It has Brown Storm at start of battle, which is a really useful storm just because of the amount of synergies it has. It has Barrier every Brown, which is obviously its biggest value. And it has immune to almost everything on final trait. With the most useful immunity being immune to stun. Because that makes it so your traits can't go away unless they curse stun you. Excuse me. Unless they curse and stun you. But yeah, like this battle that we're doing right now has a guarantee arcane. We already know before this battle even ends that there's a 100% chance we get an arcane as soon as we win. And we also get a random other trait stone, of which can also be an arcane if we get lucky. And there's our guarantee arcane, and there's our other trait stone. And that happens every boss battle you do, or every mythic boss battle that you do. But yeah, mini boss might have a higher rate. I don't know. I guess arcanes quite often on the mini boss, on lower levels as well. I think it's about the same rate as if we do Explore 12. We go chest Explore 12 real quick and just see. Last I recall, it shouldn't be much different though. Is there a reason why you explore on 3 and not 5? Is there a different one-shot team? There is a different one-shot team that can do explore 5. The reason I'm doing 3 is this team is slightly quicker. And our main priority is EXP, not trophies. And the only other benefit that doing the other one would do is EXP. Trophies, I mean. Whereas this gains EXP at a quicker rate. And the main reason for that is not only does Phoenicia need more mana, but she also can't get an extra automatic extra turn on like 4 times or 5 times. She can't get full mana off of 4 times or 5 times. Whereas a Rowan can get 4 times, 5 times green or blue to full mana. Whereas Phoenicia can only do that for 1 single color to have enough of a mana accumulation for it. I don't know, we can check Explore for 12 real quick. Are we on 12? Yeah, we are. We're Scorpius team. Where are you hiding, Scorpius? Where is Scorpius these days? Scorpius. Where are you? I know you're in here. There it is. Wouldn't that be funny if we get double Nisha out of nowhere? I wish. I haven't gotten a Nisha in a very, very long time. Mostly because we haven't really been grinding for it much. So, can we get an extra turn? Would be great. This team kind of needs it. There we go. Oh, what do we grab? Got this. Got our splodies. Do it again. Still no extra turn. We're getting really unlucky with extra turns today. Let me cast. There we go. I almost forgot how smoothly this team runs because I've been running Class XP so often lately. I almost forgot about the mighty power of this team. The only problem with this is we can't run any hero class we want. We kind of have to run Titan. Just so it doesn't die, and also because of Brown Storm is very, very important to have on this team. Because you need it prior to Mountain Crusher casting, so you could use it for Leprechaun. To give you that quick start off of Leprechaun. Yeah, this limits class XP. I mostly just did it to see if we'd get an arcane here. The last I recall, you don't have a higher rate of gaining arcanes compared to lower rarity on Explore 12 battle on the mini boss. There's still a good chance we won't get an arcane right here. And getting an arcane isn't a guarantee either. Or, you know, even if we do get one, that doesn't mean it will always do one. We'd have to test them multiple times, but I just want to see real quick. What do we get as a drop here? Anything? A loading screen is what we got as our drop. What a wonderful drop. Hello, loading screen. Oh, we did get an arcane. Huh. Oh no, maybe the rate is higher. I would need to test it more extensively later. They never made any mention of it at any point. But there's a possibility that they did end up tweaking the trait stones to be higher for it. In which case, wow, you must get a lot of arcanes from doing Explore 12 then. Because even without that increase, it would still be the best rate. Because of the guarantees that you would get off of the mythic battles. But anyways, we need class XP. So back to the Explore 3 grind. Oh, what do we even grab here? Take that for now. Kill it all out. They actually used to do that with trait stones in general. Trait stones at one point used to be a % chance to even get a trait stone per battle. And eventually they made it a 100% chance. But when trait stones were still a % chance for battle, the highest difficulty would give you a 100% chance of getting one, whereas the lower difficulty would be a % chance that you would get one. So maybe they end up doing that for arcanes now. Off of that battle. There's a possibility they did do similar. That's how trait stones were back ages ago, when they were first added in like 2.0. They were eventually tweaked several patches after though, to apply to every battle at 100% chance. Yeah, the rate's still high at lower levels. Even if it is tweaked, it's still pretty high. Regardless. Other than getting the loot, is there any reason to do challenges? No. Pretty much the loot's the only one. It's the reason why I haven't done it for most of the kingdoms. Because I don't need the loot. Ah, we didn't get an arcane there. But we get a guarantee one soon off the mythic. Regardless of difficulty, the mythic will give you guarantee. If you move a gem and create a 2 times 3 rows of gems, which other colors do you get mana from first? Oh, that's an interesting question. This is a mechanic that is very, very rarely applicable, but it's actually been consistent since pretty much day one of this game. I actually forget the order, which is kind of bad given I've been playing this game this entire time. But the order in which gems actually prioritize are in this order right here. It's an order of blue, green, red, yellow, and purple, brown. If I'm not mistaken, every single instance these masteries ever come up are in this order. And this is actually the priority order There's a reason why they're actually in this specific order. This is the priority order of gems. So if you were to take, let's say, a red gem and a purple gem simultaneously, you would accumulate the red mana prior to accumulating the purple mana. It goes in order from top to bottom of this list. I should probably memorize this eventually. It's very, very rarely applicable, but this is the order in which you accumulate mana. Blue first, then green, then red, then yellow, then purple, and then brown all the way last. It's one of the other reasons why brown builds tend to be so good. It's the last one that gets prioritized. Which is actually beneficial because that means every single one of the secondary colors that you take, you know automatically will be going before the brown. Let's see, we'll go for that for now. So if you're ever wondering why brown is also so strong, that's another reason. Because it has last priority on taking mana, which is actually a good thing. So the reason why this is a good thing, let's say you're using a team that is 4 times brown, and every single thing on your team uses brown, but they all use a secondary color, like a brown red, a brown yellow, a brown blue. If you accumulate like 20 brown, but you also gain some red, some blue, and stuff like that, the red and blues will go immediately into the troop, and then the brown will go and leak into the other ones. If it was the other way around, where brown had the highest priority, and then instead of the lowest, what would happen is you would end up eating up the browns on, let's say you had a brown, yellow in first slot, like a Gorgoltha or something. It will eat up all the brown mana first and won't accumulate the yellow properly, which will mean you get less mana overall. So the fact that brown has lowest priority makes it gain mana better than every other thing. It's one of the reasons why purple is also somewhat decent, because it's the one that has second lowest priority. But having lowest priority does actually make brown the strongest color in that way. Because whenever you take multiple manas at once, it goes into everything correctly, assuming your team is basically pure brown. Or nearly pure brown. Because if you try doing the same with blue, which has the highest priority, the big issue with that is you'll end up accumulating a lot of the blue, and then if you take like a blue-yellow, you might end up wasting some of the yellow mana because you accumulated all the blue into the thing. Like let's say Cedric's in first slot, you get a bunch of blue and it leaks into another blue. But if you got some yellow in there, the blue could have blocked your yellow accumulation so that you get less blue on the troop that's downwards from it. It's a kind of weird mechanic, but it's very, very rarely applicable though, when you would end up hitting that many of the same mana. But it doesn't come into play occasionally. It's mostly applicable to Guild Wars when you really need to know exactly what will happen. Yeah, that's pretty much been since day one, or it might literally have been since day one, that mana priority. There's almost no battle that that's applicable to because of how rare it happens. The main reason you would need to know that info, just even in general, is if you're using 2 troops that use the exact same colors, you would need to know how much mana is going into the other one specifically. So for example, let's say you have a brown-yellow, and then you have a brown troop, and then you have a yellow troop. You basically need to know how much yellow is going to go to the yellow after it leaks, and how much brown is going to go to the brown after it leaks. And basically what will happen is, if you have a 5, actually, what's a good way of doing it? Okay, so let's say you have Gorgoltha in first slot. It needs 15 mana. You currently have 9. Actually, you currently have 10 mana into it. You are about to take brown and green, yellow simultaneously, which will give you 6 mana. Let's just assume they don't surge and you don't have any pluses to it. So you're going to gain 6 mana, but it only needs 5. Basically, how you determine which one the extra one will go to is based on that priority order. So if you take brown and yellow simultaneously, the yellow will have higher priority. So the one brown will leak into your next troop rather than the one yellow. And those kind of instances are the only instances you would need to know that info. Very rarely does it ever come up, though. And that's one of the reasons why brown is also so strong. Because it has the lowest priority, which is actually a good thing. Yeah, it's pretty applicable to any game mode where you're using all the same color, pretty much. Which is mostly Guild Wars, because all the other locations aren't really as competitive. But Guild Wars is. I should probably do a video explaining that mechanic. I don't think I've ever done it before. It's something that's been in the game since day one. It's just so very rarely applicable, though. Because you need really specific situations for that info to actually be useful. Is that still applicable on Cascades? That's applicable on any instance that you accumulate mana. Priority order is always from blue first and then brown last. In order of whatever they show up on that screen. I forget the full order. The only one I always remember is that brown is lowest priority. What do we grab here? Take our explosion. And as far as pure color teams are considered, the lower priority, the better. Let's see. We'll take that for now. Did we ever gain the other level? We still have not gained 57 yet. Surprised. So close. Yeah, I almost kind of want to set up a situation where we end up showing it off. It's really hard to get a setup like that, though. That would show it correctly. Because it's really hard to deliberately try to take two different colors at the same time. Without just mass spamming it on the board, which would completely ruin the math on it. Not to mention, you'd also have to accumulate in a way where it would actually matter as far as where it leaks. Because a lot of the times, you don't pay attention to it because it doesn't matter where the mana specifically leaks to. Unless you're just really, really close to getting full mana on an important troop and you'd want to know if it does or doesn't from a certain move. What do we even grab here? Though, with double storms coming into the game very soon, that might start to become a little bit more relevant, the priority order. Just because with double storms, it'll probably be a bit more likely to hit two colors at the exact same time. Two different colors. So who knows, maybe that mechanic will start being relevant soon. I don't think we've triggered a single instance of it all stream. Which also wouldn't really happen with this team anyways. The only thing it would really happen with is on Rowan. Actually, yeah, it could actually happen on this team. However, it wouldn't be applicable for this team. Whenever we gain green and blue simultaneously, we could kind of determine on which way it falls on these two. However, we would somehow need to find a green-blue simultaneously, which we don't currently have anywhere on this board. Even if we take a green into a blue, that's not the same thing. What I was mentioning earlier is if you take them at the exact same time. Not if you take them at different times. Otherwise, it obviously goes in what order you cascade them in. Obviously, if you take a green and then cascade into a blue, it'll go in green, then blue order. Even though the actual priority would be blue and green. But if you take them simultaneously, it'll go in blue order, then green order. But if you take a green that cascades into blue, it'll just do the green, then the blue. Because they're two separate instances, not the same instance. The priority order only cares if it's the exact same instance. Is it worth choosing plus banner or plus banner for a particular color if you're already getting bonus mana for matching that color in traits or talent tree? It depends on the team. +3 can definitely be useful. +2 can be useful. It just really depends on what their mana cost is. As far as mana costs are concerned, +4 or for 4 mana you tend to run +1. For 5 mana you run +2. For 6 you run nothing. For 7 you run +1. For 8 you run +2. For 9 you run nothing. For 10 you run +1 or nothing. For 11 you run +1, sometimes double +1. For 12, you run nothing or +2. For 13, you run +2. For 14, you run +1 or double +1. And for 15, you can run +2. And for 16, you can run +2. And for everything beyond that, you pretty much just explode spam or mana accumulate spam, because their mana cost is too high to really be applicable. But yeah, it depends what you're trying to use it for and what you're trying to feed and what your team is. Because depending on what it is, you might want to prioritize a different mana on a different troop. Normally, your mana generator is the most important one to have the pluses into. But you also normally want to make sure that your pluses leak into other things. You wouldn't want to put a +2 into a troop that only has 10 mana cost and nothing else on your team that uses that color, because that's more often not really going to work out as well, because you don't have any excess to be able to use it for on the team for whenever it leaks over. So for example, on this team right here, we would probably give it a +1 green, +1 of one of those two colors. Probably of the brown, because that's what it converts. So we'd probably go green-brown if we were running this team. And the reason for that is the Gorbel needs +1, and we put it into brown because it gets to create brown, plus that brown gets to leak into Bugbear. And we do the +1 green because we need that to add a possible 2-turn, or at least a consistent 3-turn, for doing String Fiddler to full mana. So if we ignore purple and just take greens, we'd be able to 2 to 3 turn them by having a +1 on green, and that green would also leak into Bugbear as well. So with that team right there, we'd go with brown-green as our banner if we were to run something like that. Might as well show it for the next team too. Looks like String Fiddler again. With this team, we'd probably go a +1 purple because it's not blocked. This is an instance where we'd give a +1 into something where it's the only thing that uses it, just because it's blocked on green, so we need to make sure it gains full mana. Other than that, we'd probably put the other +1 into... we'd probably go minus. I'm not sure what the minus red banners are, but ideally we'd want a +2 green, +1 purple, -1 red. I'm not sure if that's a natural banner, but that would be the most ideal thing for that team, if that exists. Is that a natural banner? I don't think that is. That might actually be a natural banner now that I think about it. Hold up. Isn't that one that has like that Thunderbolt thing going through it? That might be a banner. But I want banners. Ah, that is a banner! Oh no, it's +2 purple, not +2 green. That's the one that I thought about, but it's the other way around. Whoops. Yeah, it's not a banner, unfortunately. But that would be the most optimal banner. +2 green, +1 purple, -1 red. I guess the inverse would be fine too. And for this team, you'd probably want to run a +1 green, +1 blue. The +1 blue to get this thing, and the +1 green so you can get Fiddler, and so that this thing can create more greens that'll feed into those two. And that one's just an awful team. You wouldn't ever run it. Which most of these teams aren't. Not even sure what you'd banner there. It's all useless. Oh, here's an interesting one where you'd probably go +2 into, actually, yeah, you'd probably go +2 red with this to get Fizzbang up, and also you'd be able to use the extra red there. So actually, you could go a +2 blue or purple if you wanted to risk it, into a +1 red, into a -1 brown or green, whichever one happens to fall on, and then use that to get a +2 total red, and then +2 into her, so that you can 2-turn both of them for mana accumulation purposes. You generally don't want to put a +2 onto your first slot though, when it's the only color that you use. There are some compositions that will risk it though. It's really risky to put your +2 as the only +2 on your team as your first slot, because then if it dies, you lose all the value of the banner you just set. Occasionally it's worth doing. More often than not, it's not worth doing. Generally speaking, yes. More often than not, you just banner your mana generator, is the way you normally go. That's not always the case, though. But a general rule of thumb, if you put your all your mana accumulation into either your mana generator and or your primary damage source, you're probably fine. Let's see, we'll take that over. Grab our splitties. Haha, it's barbaric that they fixed it. Yeah, they did finally fix the glitch on barbarian class. It is now a useless hero class. However, nonetheless, I still want to get to 70 and mess around with it. These will need to eventually anyways. That's when it gains its final perk, because its 100 perk is useless. So it's pretty much maxed out at 70, like many other hero classes in the game, due to all the useless 100 perks out there. Barbarian being one of them. Also, I almost forgot, we have cherries here. I've been conserving them throughout the stream. Hello, September Black. Welcome. Well, just need to get this final level. Then we'll probably get to 60 tonight. You decided to farm your COT. What's COT again? Too many initials in this game. We have like 900 troops almost. What's COT again? Going around on the higher 2 times to get the higher, and rewards are good. And your renown is increasing. COT. Oh, City of Thieves. You're mentioning a faction. So you decided not to farm City of Thieves. You're just going around on your higher 2 times to get them higher, and the rewards are good, and your renown is increasing. Yeah, you can choose to skip on that. You do theoretically get more loot by constantly doing 2 times than you would from camping a single faction. The only problem with that is you eventually run out of places to 2 times that. However, if you're starting to get into factions, there's probably enough 2 times that you could go all the way around. For people that have been playing since factions have come out, they'd probably run out of 2 times. But, yeah, that'd probably be perfectly fine to do. Especially if you're not spending gems on any of the upcoming factions. You'd probably have enough 2 times to just keep going almost forever. Because every single time a new faction comes out, it adds, how many days worth of attempts? Let's see, you could do 3 per day. What's 48 divided by 3? That comes out to, what? 15, 18. That comes out to 18, right? So, that is correct, right? Did I do the math on that right? That should be 18. No. Okay, what's 48 divided by 3? Let's see, 48 divided by 3. 16, my bad. 16. So it lasts you 16 days, assuming you don't lose any battles. So let's just say 17. We'll say 16. Let's just assume you lose 0. You can occasionally lose occasionally though if you get like really bad luck on something. But 16 days. So a single new faction will last you 16 days. And then you have all of the already existing factions. So a way that you can calculate out how long you'll have 2 times multiplier for, if you're going to be doing that every single day, is you take the number of faction rooms that you still have left, which is a total of, or you basically count every 3 as a day. And then just take the total number that you have for every single faction. So if you're at like 200 and you need to go all the way to 500, then that would be 30 of them that you end up taking. And then divide that total number by 3. And that is how many days worth of 2 times factions you would still have, assuming no losses. And it's 16 per faction if you have it just at level 20. 16 days, that is. 48 total battles. And you can do the math that way for every single faction to determine how much more you would have for day-wise. And then every single month you can add another 16 and try calculating it out that way for how long you'd have to go. So, for example, if you still had to do, let's say, 200 more 200 more delves, which I'm pretty sure is way more than that. Let's just say 200 more delves. We divide that by 3. It comes out to 66.6 repeating days. And that means in that time we'd get 2 more factions. So to that we would end up adding an additional 28 days. So we had 28. So if you had 200 delves left, you would have 95 more days of doing 2 times multiplier. And you can do the math like that for whatever point you're at. The only problem with doing 2 times constantly is you will eventually run out of 2 times. However, you will get the renown on every single faction, which is of course beneficial. But it's normally worth keeping one of them at a lower level just to farm it, because you are eventually going to run out of 2 times. But you can do the math to find out the exact day pretty much when you're going to run out, or at least the approximate month if nothing else. Because some things can throw that off. Like for example, if you spend gems on an event, or if you on a faction event, or if you lose battles. Both of those 2 things will throw off that math. Did you already test 50% night team? What is 2 times for factions? Wait, did you already test 50% night team? What is 2 times for factions? Oh, 2 times? I was mentioning someone was progressing through on factions. Basically, there are 3 different multipliers you can have when doing factions. 0.5, which is whenever you go backwards. 1 times, which is whenever you repeat the exact same one. And 2 times multiplier, which 2 times is whenever you end up advancing forward to one that you haven't been to, or what all the multipliers are during a actual faction event. And whenever I say 2 times multiplier, I'm basically just referring to all the instances where you do gain 2 times, which is faction events, and whenever you're progressing forward on a faction. Or all the times when you get 2 times multiplier from it. Also, there is one exception for 1 times multiplier. For whatever reason, whenever you do a level 20 delve, it's one of the reasons why level 20 delves are so overpowered. Whenever you do a level 20 delve, when your current delve is level 30, it'll count as a 1 times multiplier rather than a 0.5. In every other instance throughout all factions, it counts as 0.5. But for whatever reason, if you're at 30 and you do a 20, it counts as 1 times. Which is what makes level 20 so overpowered for delves, and why they need to nerf it, and they still haven't since day 1 of delves. It's been that way for like a year and a half now, and they still haven't rebalanced it for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. What do we grab here? Take that, dead. You just hit level 70 Barbarian, nice. Yeah, I'll be hitting that later tonight. We're probably just gonna get 1 more level for now and then call it a stream for now. Because I still haven't grabbed lunch or dinner yet today. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do anything special for dinner for Valentine's Day. Probably just have normal foods. I saw randomly on Twitter, I don't think it's anywhere near me, but Domino's was doing a Sonic themed pizza for Sonic the Hedgehog coming out today. And it was basically, they had the crust as a bunch of those dogs, or hot dogs covered in bread with like a cheese dipping sauce for them. I found that pretty funny. I kind of want that now, but I don't think any place near me is doing that promotion. Actually, I think Domino's by me is like selling a heart-shaped pizza, which is kind of funny. I'm not even sure how they would do that. Well, actually, I do kind of know. Duh, because instead of just doing it normally, you would just do it into a heart. Because it's not like they put it into some kind of mold. The reason why they're normally circular is because of how you knead the dough, or how you end up tossing it. They could easily just shape it into a heart after you've done it. Yeah, the theme is supposed to be like chili dogs, but it just did it as normal. So it'd be more appealing to a wider audience. Yeah, Hawaiian pizza sounds nice. I think Domino's by me, or not Domino's. Oh no, I was meant Pizza Hut when I mentioned the other one. But yeah, Domino's by me is still running a promotion for like a $7 pizza or something. And pineapple pizza is one of them. And also it comes with 3 free toppings. So I choose pineapple, pineapple, and pineapple. Actually, I haven't actually done it yet. It's on whenever you order it, you can get it with custom text. I want to do a custom text that says, "Can you put as much pineapple as you possibly can until I can't even see the pizza for this price?" Like whatever the maximum amount of pineapple is that you can put in for this, just do that. I want to see what happens if I actually mention that to them on the app. If they'll actually do it. I want so much pineapple on it that it's just a pineapple with pizza underneath. As much cheese as there is, I want pineapple. Let's see, we'll go for that. You would have a soggy pizza? Oh no, it doesn't get that soggy. Unless you have like really watery pineapple. Like if you had high quality pineapple, it would probably get soggy. But most pizza places have like rather average pineapple. It's been out for a while. So it doesn't get as soggy. Still has most of the flavor, but it's you know, it's not as good a quality. I find that issue a lot at fast food places too. They have like really, really stiff pineapples. They're not the really juicy ones. Well, I can always try requesting to them to put the pineapple on, like, after the fact. Like, you could just make a normal pizza, put it in, take it out, put pineapple on it, and then put it back in. Not sure if they would go through all that effort, though, for one that's already on sale. But, I don't know, they have a little place where you could say specific, so I should ask and just see what happens. I'm tempted to go get that now. It's cheap enough, might as well. They spend a little bit more, though. Every $10 you spend there, I think if you do it like 4 or 5 times, you get a free pizza. Which it might have been 6 times. I haven't been using the app. I'm starting to use the app now just because, why not get free pizza? If I'm already going to be ordering there anyways. And the reason I order from that place is it's actually within walking distance. It's less than a mile from my house. So I just walk there so I don't have to pay a fee or anything. Or tip a person. Plus it gets me exercising more. Because it's basically a 2-mile walk. Mile there, mile back. Yeah, they'll do anything if you're willing to pay. True. I gotta burn all those pizza calories, I know, right? Let's see, we'll go for that. Should be getting pretty close on that level, too. Haven't been paying too much attention to it, but I think we're about 20 battles off or less. Yep, less. We are 9 battles off, and then we'll get 68. Or sorry, not, I wish 68. 58. And then we'll get the last 2 levels for 60 tonight. And we'll work on 70 soon, TM. Hopefully by next weekend we'll have 70. Though we could theoretically do it by this weekend. There's probably enough time this weekend that we could get it done. I keep forgetting, it's only Friday right now. It feels like almost the end of the weekend, for whatever reason. Yeah, it is only Friday. Region of the states do I live in? In South Carolina. Let's see. Down south. Actually, we're voting very soon as well. In, I believe, 2 weeks. Also, Andrew Yang dropped out. I'm so disappointed. I'll probably vote for, like, Tulsi Gabbard or something now. My ranked choice voting since the beginning has been pretty much Andrew Yang, Tulsi Gabbard, and Bernie Sanders for the most part. So I guess I'll vote Tulsi now. That or I'll write in Andrew Yang. We'll see. That or just not vote. That is also an option now. He dropped out mostly because he only got a few % in Iowa and New Hampshire. Wish he would have stayed at least till Super Tuesday, though. But his main reasoning is he didn't want to keep taking donations and money from people if he already had, like, no path going forward. Because there was already, like, 5 candidates polling better than him. Tacet 2020, no. No, Yang's probably going to run again in 2024, though. So we'll see what happens then. Plus, he might become someone's vice president, so you never know. That's definitely not out of possibility. I'll grab that. And maybe our state can count the votes correctly. Well, the only reason that happened was because it was a caucus, and they used some kind of weird app that malfunctioned in Iowa. Nevada's also a caucus. However, South Carolina is a normal primary, like what New Hampshire was. And New Hampshire went pretty smooth as far as vote counting, and so should South Carolina. Also, Joe Biden's probably dropping out if he doesn't win South Carolina. He might stick until Super Tuesday, but then he's definitely dropping out if he both loses Super Tuesday and South Carolina. But at this point, it seems like the race is mostly between Bernie Sanders, Amy Klobuchar, and Pete Buttigieg. Even though there's still like a dozen other candidates running. Let's see. Should try this place, Tacet, if you live near any of these cities. It's $5 for an adult buffet. Really? I don't know any place that cheap by me. There's a Chinese buffet I go to occasionally that there's coupons for occasionally as well. That gets it down to about, I think, like $8 or something. But with drink as well. But I'm not sure of any that's $5 buffet. I'd almost be skeptical of the food that would be served at a $5 buffet. I don't think I've ever ate at a buffet that's reasonable. What's the best current place to farm souls? Low-level Explorer. Particularly Explorer 2 with Dragon Soul. And then use a bunch of soul gain options with it. And the reason you do Explore 2 is it dies in 3 shots. And you actually want it to die specifically in 3 shots. No less, no more. Because if you do less, it'll give you less souls. And if you do more, it'll waste time. So if you can do a exact battle like that, it tends to work good. And Explore 2 is the exact range to do that in. Which works out really nicely. What's the best current... Oh, never mind. I already just answered that. Let's see. What link? I didn't see any link. Oh, you can't post a link unless you're a mod. So I didn't get to see it. I live in Myrtle Beach right now, though. Not sure if there's anything like that in Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach is normally a little bit more pricier just because it's a touristy area. So it's harder to find some of the more reasonable places. Oh, yeah, I've been to ssaszix before. There isn't any exceptionally close to me, though. I think the closest one's like 40 minutes away from where I live. But compared to ssaszix, I normally just prefer getting an actual pizza more often than not, compared to eating at ssaszix. The quality of quite a few of their pizzas, or at least at the ssaszix by me, tends to be kind of meh. They also charge a lot for a drink. I think it's like $3 for a drink or something, even though the buffet itself is relatively cheap. What's the best delve the farm at level 50? What do you mean at level? Oh, you mean at the level 50 thing? City of Thieves. Same as if you were to farm it at level 20. City of Thieves is best for 50 as well. It's not really advised to do the 50 farm thing, but if you're going to do it, just do it as City of Thieves. There's a lot of good loot rooms that'll help give you a lot more loot due to the multipliers that they have. Due to all the treasure rooms. Also, I didn't even notice. We already gained level 58. Nice. We have achieved our level that we wanted. And then we'll get 60 later tonight. But yeah, does anyone else have any other questions? Otherwise, I'm probably going to go grab lunch/dinner. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Valentine's Day. And yeah, we'll be back in about 5 hours from now to go get this thing to level 60 and to give out a Valentine's Day code. They didn't do anything special for Valentine's Day, but we will. We'll have a code with 25 gems later tonight in about 5 hours from now. But anyways, any other questions, anyone? Otherwise, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day and the rest of your weekend. Still, the event video isn't up. I really need to get that done soon. Need to find some time just to do it. It's mostly just going to be a Quentin video at this point, because obviously all the event stuff has already gone by. So it's almost going to be entirely off of Quentin. Just some of the things that are still available if you want to go get it this weekend. But I'll mostly just mess with Quentin. Quentin's a pretty great option overall. Really nice troop. Compared to what they've been adding recently, it's quite a bit above average. How can you do higher than Explorer 1 with Dragon Soul? You can't even one-shot level 1. You're not supposed to one-shot it. You actually want to three-shot it. And the reason you want to three-shot it on Explorer 2 is because you can get the max capacity of souls that way. If you only do it once, you're only going to get like 15 souls. Assuming you have no multiplier. But of course, you'd want to use the necromancies and stuff like that too. But 2 will give you almost all of it. It would give you 30 out of 40. But 3 of them would give you the full amount. And you always want to be getting 3 casts whenever you do a Dragon Soul win. And that's why you want to do it on Explorer 2. You're not actually aiming to one-shot it. You're aiming to three-shot it. And you normally want to run a Purple Storm or something with it in order for it to three-shot a bit quicker. You also run 20% mana start because Dragon Soul needs it. There's no way to give Dragon Soul any mana start other than the 20% off of metals. You can run it on Explorer 3 occasionally. You have to double check the Explorer though. I honestly advise Explorer 2 a little bit more. But it depends on what the stats are. Because you're aiming to 3-shot. If you're 4-shotting, it's wasting time. And the problem with Explorer 3 is there's some situations where it would end up 4-shotting rather than 3-shotting. But as long as you can consistently 3-shot it wherever you're doing it at, it should be fine. As long as that's what you're doing. Because you always want 3 casts. But you want the highest range that you can do for 3 casts. Some places, if you do want to do Explore 3 that have pretty low durability, probably the biggest one is probably Zolkir, if I'm not mistaken. I believe has some of the lowest durability that you can end up getting for those quick kills. If you wanted to try doing it that way. I haven't actually tested that for every single kingdom. There's probably one kingdom that has the absolute lowest durability, but I just do it on Explore 2 just because it's more consistent. Maybe I'm just going to some of the tankier kingdoms. Like I know Kazil, I'm pretty sure would be a 3-shot there. It also depends what the 10 and 20% are for the given week as well, which changes literally every single week. But you just kind of have to test around with it on a given week and just find what works. And whatever will get you to a consistent 3-shot at the highest difficulty possible would work, which is either 2 or 3, depending on bonuses. Any banner suggestion for Glaceon, Leprechaun, Secrets of the Crypt, and Lust? Probably just double purple. Or a +2 purple, +1, -1. If you can fit the -1 without really ruining anything. Because everything there is purple. And you wouldn't want to give Leprechaun extra mana. Because you wouldn't want to give him extra green because he needs green on the board in order to get value off his ability from his explosion. So yeah, pretty much just a +2 purple into a +1, -1 into whatever you can end up fitting that in for the minus without ruining anything. But yeah, does anyone else have any other questions? Otherwise, I'm going to be heading out for now. Hope you all have a wonderful Valentine's Day. And we'll be back in about 5 hours from now, 4.5 hours. Well, about more closer to 5, I guess. But yeah, we'll be back at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Catch all of you guys later. And thank you all so much for watching. Goodbye, everyone, and enjoy the holiday.